insurance, it's the prescription drug companies, it's insurance, it's the NRA. Do you want to go through the list? No. First of all, teachers, yeah, you can go through the number one, and you can pull it up. Anyone can hit Google and look, and way down on the list. But by the way, just so you know, that AIPAC, and I'm going to be very clear on this, does not write checks. Jewish Americans write checks. We write checks, and we write checks to members of Congress, because that's all AIPAC does, is members of Congress. They don't do the executive branch. We write checks up to $5,700, which is the limit for members of Congress, and it is bundled by an organization. It is not that organization writing the checks. It is Christians and Jews that support the American Israel. May I finish? I actually know this more than you do, okay? I actually know this more than you do. It's Christians and Jews that believe in the American-Israel relationship that write checks to the maximum of $5,700, and they give it to an organization that bundles it and gives it as support to.
Yeah, it's a super PAC in their top 5 strongest in the United States.
Did I just say how AIPAC is funded? It's individuals.
That's why they're still top 5. It doesn't matter
how you not top 5. Go Google it. Google the top 5. Not even close. Not even close. I'm not denying it. Anyone can look it up. Anyone can look it up. Look at the top lobbyists in Washington. Have you spent time lobbying? Have you ever knocked on doors in Washington? Do you know who's there? Who's on it? Okay? It's the pharmaceuticals. It's the insurance companies. It's AAA. It's NRA. You can go through it. It's the AARP. AARP is one of the top.
Not even in the top 20.
The National Association of Realtors, which we all know is a Jewish front group, give it a fucking break. Then the American Chamber of Commerce is number 2. Pharmaceutical Research Manufacturers of America is number 3. American Hospital Association is number 4. Blue Cross Blue Shield is number 5. So again, not AIPAC.
Keep going, Ben, because there's lots of other ones.
Platforms, number 6. American Medical Association is number 7. Number 8, Amazon. Again, I guess a Jewish front group, according to this jokester. Business Roundtable, the NCTA, and AIPAC, and fucking NPC. I almost called you AIPAC, which is hilarious. NPC, I was going to bat for you so you could open your mouth, and immediately you stuck your foot in it, dude. Yes, I'm a Christian. I'm pro-Israel because they're an ally. Because there's one free country in that entire fucking region. There's one free country. That's it.
Let me go and say they reflect American values and interests and defend us, and we can trust them. Israel's trustworthy.
Let me go.
And I will tell you, it's a very important thing.
Go, bro. He's been waiting. It's literally just getting ridiculous.
It's part of your First Amendment, and you should all exercise your right to petition the government.
Kaz, go ahead. Let's hear from you. Okay, Kaz, you've been waiting patiently. Thank you.
Why do I have to wait that long?
Because some of the people were talking. Now is your
I apologize that you had to wait for 10 minutes.
It's cool though. It was like 20 minutes, but
25 minutes, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna make it short though. I don't know why people are saying or missing the point when they say Jews run the world. It has nothing to do with just Jews being good at things. It has something to do with the intention of how and why they want the position they have and how they got it.
We don't want that position.
Let me go though, bro. A lot of corruption, a lot of lies throughout history. They've done a lot of bad things. Now, I'm not talking about all Jews. The structure is Jewish people are real people, and a lot of bad people pose as Jewish people. So they're not. That is not all Jewish.
Yes, they're not Jewish. They're all Christian now. The Rothschilds.
They converted.
They converted.
Here's the thing, right? I don't buy that. If y'all buy that, right?
No,
you can buy it.
I'm Jewish. I don't need that money.
It's like history. It's not like people are just saying this now. Everybody's been saying this throughout all of history about
Yes, people say bad things of black people too, and I call that racism. What do you call it?
Simple. They've been
But
saying
guys,
this about.
as people say bad things about black folks, and I call it racist. What do you call it?
What do you mean? What's the point you're making?
Well, you said that people say bad things about you. I call that racism.
What Jewish people do?
No, wait, Kaz, I'm asking you an important question. Kaz, wait a second. People enslaved black folks. I call that racism. People said that they were bad things. I call it racism. What do you call it when they call Jewish specific things? Whether it's they call Jews lazy, or they call Jews stupid, or they say Jews are on welfare. I call that racism. What would you call it?
Happen to run everything.
Run what?
They have bad intentions, and
Who
they
has
spread
a
a
bad
lot of pedophilia shit.
Jonas Salk had a bad intention, Kaz? Did Jonas Salk have a bad intention, Kaz?
And then they want to lie about things like the Holocaust.
Albert Einstein had a bad intention, Kaz.
They want to lie about the Holocaust.
So do we say all people are like P. Diddy and Michael Jackson?
All these companies are really.
Michael Jackson.
No, that's my point. All Jewish is not.
I agree with you. So then, why would you say it about Jews?
Do you not hear what I said earlier?
Yeah. So
it's not all. Listen to what I said. It's not all Jews, but the Jews at the top. The people at the top doing it. They happen to be Jewish.
Okay, who is a Jew at the top?
It's a lot. It's families.
Name one.
It goes in families.
Dude, who is a Jew at the top?
I just gave you some.
They're not Jewish, so give us one.
They are Jewish.
No, they're not. Kaz, they're not. So give us a Jew at the top.
Who's a Jew at the top?
They're Jewish.
Dude, there's no proof on that. You're talking companies. I want to be one of these Jews. Okay,
Michael Bloomberg.
Okay, what did Michael Bloomberg do that was bad? He was mayor of New York. What did he do? The city got safer. You don't like Michael Bloomberg? The company.
I don't know. I don't live over there. I was trying to help him.
What did he do that bothered you? He said he did evil.
His crime is being Jewish, obviously. That's his crime. She has no evidence, no further statements. She just randomly blurted out a Jew.
Oh, no, don't say she. I was just giving an example.
Who is Jonas Salk? Who's Jonas Salk, Kaz? Do you know what polio is? Do you ever hear of polio?
The sickness?
Yeah.
What about it?
You don't have it, do you?
Do I
Do you have
have
any
it?
relatives? Do you have any relatives that had it?
I don't know.
Okay, you know why they don't have it?
Why?
Because Jonas Salk invented the vaccine so that nobody has it anymore.
So here's the thing.
So, and guess what about Jonas Salk? He's Jewish. Yeah.
You know what?
And then Saban figured out how to put it in little sugar cubes so you can have it in school and make sure that no school kids have it.
It's important. So you see it like that, right?
Shall I keep going?
The way I see it, here's the thing. This is why there's a lot of
You
confusion.
think we should still all have polio?
I'm responding to you.
You know what he charged for the polio
You're
vaccine?
saying a Jewish person, right?
Yeah.
There's this sickness,
Make
and
sure-
he got made a vaccine for it, right?
So you don't get it.
Listen to this. I'm saying this.
And you know what he charged for it?
Here's what I'm saying, bro. Here's
Kaz,
what
wait, we didn't finish the lesson. You know what he charged for it?
it was free, knowing how to
Free.
I know.
Free.
I know.
So
We on the same
millions
page,
of
but
people all
bro,
millions of people
cannot
all
talk
around
when
the world.
you want to overtalk me, bro. Like,
No,
damn, I waited all this.
No more fragility. All right, go ahead.
But basically, you guys see it like that. I see it like, first of all, they knew what it was. They probably had something to do with it, and the vaccines are not what they think they are. Like, bro, these vaccines are
Holy shit, so you're saying Jews brought polio into the world so that Jonas Saul could figure out how to cure it and take credit? Is that what you're saying? I think I just heard him say that. Did anyone else? David, did you hear him say that?
The story you think it is not really that.
Yeah, I heard him say that, yeah.
You shouldn't trust the vaccines. Point blank period.
And how do you even react to
You
this?
didn't know what polio
Because
is.
people just want vaccines now. People test these vaccines.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the choice of you wanting to listen to this shit comes into play. It's a you problem if you want to listen to it at this point.
Okay, so
I'm not trolling at all. This is what we actually they create the problem.
Yeah, he's like incredibly anti-Semitic, like honestly.
Why? Just because they want to put the in your body, bro. That's what happened. That's what happened. Look at the Epsteins. They're
Oh
all.
my gosh.
Why
How can you guys do this?
Look at Epstein. Epstein's not tied to these people.
You just said all of the Epsteins, guys. Literally, you just said all of the Epsteins.
I said, look at Epstein.
No, you said look at all of the
I
Epsteins.
said, look at Epstein.
Okay, all right. Let's go one at a time. Let's try to elevate the conversation a little bit. For the record, no, Jews did not invent polio. Jews did create polio
You would
vaccine.
know if they did.
Yes, of
No,
course.
they wouldn't put it in. But
There's no such thing as inventing polio. It's a natural.
No, but you guys did, but Normo, you guys did invent the transgender
What are you
surgery.
talking about? Y'all push that transgender shit in
Let's move on. All right, thank you.
Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you for lowering
I'll
the
be telling you
intelligence
real about this.
Let's move on.
It's so unfortunate because, you know, this kind of rhetoric actually is like a double-edged sword. It like hurts you guys, like the Jewish people in the room, to keep hearing this kind of narrative, and it simultaneously just stabilizes like all of your contributions.
Well, that's why I like to say reading poetry on Clubhouse is extremely valuable, because if all you did was listen to R words all day long, well, then you too might become an R word. Your audiobook that you choose to listen to is important. Therefore, use discernment and discrimination to know how much is too much Clubhouse. Hello?
Here's my big issue with a lot of this stuff. It's what's happening is that they're creating unfalsifiable arguments. I mean, when I say they, I'm going to be specific here. I mean anti-Semites like Kaz. When he says they, he roughly means the Jews, but apparently not all Jews. But what he's doing is he's creating an unfalsifiable argument. So if you just go, oh yeah, hey, what you're saying is totally insane, so let's follow it. Then he goes, okay, well, so again with the polio vaccine, like, oh, the polio vaccine was invented by a Jew, and then he goes, oh well, then polio must have been invented by a Jew. You see this again? This is not exclusive to Kaz. This is like other people who are anti-Semitic as well. When you call them out and say, hey, what you're saying is insane. Oh,
Yeah, you actually are, dude.
No,
Like saying that the estimated number of deaths during the Holocaust is a lie. That's anti-Semitic, bro.
Textbook anti-Semitism.
But I've heard numbers as high as 18 million.
No, but that's not the direction he's going in PC, and let's not be intellectually dishonest. Please, let's not be intellectually dishonest and
What
giving.
do you mean?
No,
I just said
and
that
giving
I've heard
Kaz
people say
credit.
it's as high
But
as
this is,
18
but we're talking about the person here right now, and the person here right now. Those estimates go down and not up. So please, let's not be intellectually dishonest.
But I genuinely think that the mainstream numbers are overrepresented.
Oh, here we go again with overrepresentation of Holocaust victims. Why do we tolerate these people? I do not know.
We're still talking about hundreds of thousands and millions of people. It's still a tragedy. So like measuring like a yard instead of a
Trying to minimize it is a classic anti-Semitic.
No, I don't care about minimizing it. You guys are taking it so when people.
No, it was about his statement. Kaz's statement was about minimizing it, bro.
It's not about minimizing.
We're not talking about people who are not in this room. We're talking about the person who said the statement in this room.
Well, I understand English. I disagree with the way that you're taking it, and the reason why is because they're not doing something positive. I'm not saying that he's doing something positive.
Well, I think it's just your opinion that you understand English, because I asked you earlier if you knew the difference between an opinion and a fact. He didn't know the difference between an opinion and a fact, and he just keeps talking like a motor mouth, like how I'm doing, and we just keep talking over each other, because one of us must definitely have a mental health problem.
Okay. I'm going to say this again. I have to take take a few phone calls and do a few meetings because I'm trying to control the media and the banks and the world and Donald Trump and polio. So we're going to go one at a time. Universal, please don't interrupt. So for those...
Oh, I just wanted to be a part of the conversation. Sorry.
It's all right. For those who didn't know, Holocaust minimization is a classic anti-Semitic. Why? Because it's part of this whole idea that Jews are controlling the story, and Jews are controlling the media, and Jews are playing victim, and Jews are lying. That's where that whole thing comes from. So you have fallen victim to a classic, really it's a Nazi trope. And when black folks in particular begin to parrot Nazi anti-Semitic lies, it's particularly disturbing since black folks too were the subject of discrimination and racism and oppression historically, like the Jews. Now, do we have to keep drilling down into this nonsense of Holocaust denial and Holocaust minimization, or can we move on to something slightly more intelligent?
The reason why I don't think you guys care about progress. The reason why I don't think you guys care about anti-Semitism.
Norm was talking. What were you gonna say?
This is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Before Abby got on stage, I think I was misunderstood. I was trying to basically build a bridge with not just Jewish, but have a conversation with some Jewish folk and kind of tell them, hey, there's a lot of people that you guys are calling anti-Semitic that are not anti-Semitic. This is the most because it helps the conspiracy theorists. It helps the conspiracy theorists because when you start to deny, oh, we're not overrepresented in media, or if you say that Jews are overrepresented in the media, you have to feel like you're committing a crime. Like, there's certain things that you guys are doing that aren't strategic in my point of view, and that gives people like Kaz more credibility because you guys can't even have conversations. You can't even have conversations. All you guys.
Hang on. Do you remember welfare queens? Remember that term?
What does welfare queens have to do with?
That was from Ronald Reagan. That was from Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, I wasn't alive during that time. I know you were alive during that time, thank God, but I wasn't alive to witness.
I wasn't alive either, but I know that term.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with being like?
It's talking about the proselytization. He's talking about the proselytization of propaganda.
If your guess is in Israel, you're also an anti-Semite. Like,
it's an anti-black trope. It says that black folks are overrepresented in welfare. It's a lie.
But they are. But they are.
I agree. This is what you don't understand.
They are. I agree.
We're talking to people that agree with shit like that. Yes, they
He
are.
wasn't alive during the Holocaust. How could he even know about it?
Look at
He wasn't alive. That's the new standard for knowing about something.
Hey, why is it?
Is this news to you, El Normo, that black people are overrepresented when it comes to wealth?
One at a time now, everybody. We can't all hear ourselves if everybody's talking at the same time. Moderators, let's just do it one at a time. If somebody wants to talk out of turn, just put them in the goo, because nobody can hear everybody talking at the same time. It's like a bang room. There's no point in everybody talking at the same time.
Did you just learn something today?
No, you gotta control.
No, I'm trying to teach you about racism, and you're proving impervious.
But here's the thing, Norm. People say,
why don't you try a different
oh
strategy?
my God. People say this, right? People say people are racist against white people. Black people don't like white people, right? And I tell them, do you realize only a small majority of
Black
white
people don't like white people. Where do you get that from?
Bro, can you shut the fuck up?
Please.
Like,
No, you can shut the fuck up.
You look like a thumb, nigga. Shut
Who
the
is
fuck
that
up.
talking? TC, please
You
don't worry
are
about it.
dumb, bitch.
Like the fuck you But listen,
now we got black
and
people
I
on
tell
black people.
I tell black people, like, bro, you realize only a small percentage of white people owned slaves back then, right? I'm that type of person. I'm not caping for anybody. And I'm telling you, that 6 million Jews, that's been a folktale in the Jewish community.
Not a folktale.
Listen, let me land it, bro. Before you cut it out, bro, I'm here to listen to you, bro. Just let me say what I say, bro.
Okay. All right. I mean, thank you for your participation. It's enough already. It's a folktale. It's a lie. It's a Jews who... It's enough already. I've heard enough nonsense from this guy. I'm here to tell you that it's a folktale. Okay, it didn't happen, right? I mean, my mother lived through it, but she must have been dreaming. And by the way, all those dead Jews, any minute now they're just resting, and any minute now they're fixing to get up and walk. So, thank God for that. They're all coming back to life. It was all a big misunderstanding.
The craziest part, Norm, is
Can we
that it's
move
the
on?
most documented thing ever. These motherfucking Nazis, they were proud of it. They didn't deny it when they were put on trial. They said we were following orders, but they didn't say we didn't do it. I mean, it's the most documented thing of all time. It's like October 7th, the terrorists who go out there and are videotaping themselves raping and killing people, and then people say, oh, they didn't do it. There's always going to be somebody, I mean, God bless Kanye. Kanye said that slavery was a choice. I guess this guy must agree with him that slavery was a choice.
Yeah, but
the only
the thing
explanation,
is,
right?
when Kanye said that, I believe that people get to say things that they believe in some instance. But at the end of the day, y'all can talk all the shit y'all want, but people notice patterns. And
At the end of the day, we got pattern recognition seekers, distributors of hate speech like NPC, low IQ baboons that don't read poetry. NPC, what's the last poem you read?
you're going to start alienating people who just have questions.
Yeah,
And when you alienate people who just have questions, it makes the people
No, you're just trying to provoke people.
have conspiracy
You
theories.
just want to provoke people. You're trying to provoke Jews when you say the Holocaust didn't happen or it's a folk tale, 6 million is a
Wait, that was another thing.
Oh my God, Randy.
You don't have a source for that.
Yeah, NPC didn't say that. Randy, NPC didn't say that.
But whoever said that it's 6 million is a
Yeah, that person's been
They didn't
removed.
read that in the book, but there's no source for
I didn't mean to say baboon there. Could have just said dumbass. That's really what I meant to say. It just seemed like that was the next logical word for me.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is the tax. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a liar. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a criminal. Borrows $1.3 billion to give to Cronny-Don. Profits the C2U is a mafia propaganda. Organization affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Open the books, transparency now. Public spending tracker now. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the scam. Reparations for black slaves is a scam. It's the black tax socialists are taxologists. All taxation is theft. Affordability is a scam. Abortion Greyhound buses are murder for profits. Open the books, transparency now. Public spending tracker now. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the scam. Johnson is a criminal. Borrows 1 billion to give to crony Don. Broke the state who is a mafia propaganda. Organization portability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is my tax. Open the box, transparency now. It's getting tragic. Brandon Johnson is a tax. Brandon Johnson is a scam. Johnson is a criminal. Borrows 1.3 billion to give to crony nonprofits. The CCU is a mafia propaganda. Organization of portability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is a broken the books, transparency. No! Public spending tracker. No! Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon spending tracker. No! Brandon Johnson paychecks with a smiling mask. Call it care, call it change while you pass the hat. Your friends at the table eating out the back. We're stuck in the checkout line doing the math. You borrow a mountain full of parking lot dreams, sign your name on the dime like it's free, free, free. We wake up to letters with the red ink screams. Every promise on paper feels cheap to me. Brandon Johnson is a tag. We're the ones who pay it back. All the bills and all the spend. Cash goes out, we're locked in. Open up the books right now. Stolen numbers right behind. Transparency on every track. Brandon Johnson is a tag. You call it for the people, but the doors stay closed. Same names on the contracts, every story we told. You preach about affordable, then raise the toll. Whole city in a chokehold, just to feed the road. We're tired of slogans on a pretty blue sign. Want a public spending tracker in real time. Not enough for a walk on our dime. We're done with the fiction, this is our line. Brandon Johnson is a tag. We're the ones who pay it back. All the bills and all the spin. Cash goes out with locked in. Open up the books right now. Stolen numbers not behind. Transparency on every track. Brandon Johnson is a tag. We want receipts. Every sip, every check, every beat. Turn the lights to the ceiling, to the cracks, to the shadows. Pull back, pull back. Brandon Johnson is the tag. They're the ones who pay it back. All the bills and all the spin. Cash goes out, we're locked in. Open up the books right now. Stolen numbers not behind. Put the truth on the child. It screams still on just like flash. Brandon Johnson is the tag. Brandon Johnson is the tag. You stamped a paycheck, it's with a smiling mask. Call it care, call it change while you pass the hat. Your friends at the table eating out the back. We're stuck in the checkout line, doing the math. You borrowed a mountain for a parking lot dream. Sign your name on the dime, like it's free, free, free. We wake up to letters with the red ink screams. Every promise on paper contracts and every story we're told. You preach about affordable, then raise the toll. Whole city in a chokehold just to figure it out. We're tired of slogans on a pretty blue sign. Want a public spending tracker in real time. Not another photo op on our dime. We're done with the fiction, this is our life. Brandon Johnson is the tax. We're the ones that pay it back. All the deals that I spend. Cash flows that were locked in. Open up the books right now. So the light was not my life. Transparency on every line. Brandon Johnson is the tax. You will see every cent, every check, every need. Brandon Johnson is the tax. We're the ones who pay it back. All the bills and all the spin. Cash flows that were locked in. Open up the books right now. Show the numbers line by line. Put the truth on a giant screen. Till the whole town sees it fly.
What's new with Google Ads? Google AI.
Johnson is the tax. City bills on the kitchen table. Red ink, same name on the label. You call it fair share, I call it a shakedown. Smile on the podium, hand in the playground. 1-3 in the dark, who's counting? Cody's lights up, hand down, all counting. CTU speaks like a script from a play. Kids use his props when you catch that. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Every paycheck under attack. You must well care to read out loud. Brandon Johnson is the tax. You must be ready back. Open the books, track every step. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Yeah! Woo! Affordability, just a slogan on a flyer. Rent climb higher while you call me a denier. You brand every critic and enemy of hope. While families do the math and can't got caught. We're a basement, quiet, let's get fed. Chase no lion, you promised life. Just give us men, we're paying out. You got it in. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Every paycheck under attack. You expect every way on life. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Federation, we want the facts. Public spending on Polish rights. Brandon Johnson is the tax.
What is it? What is it?
What do you mean? What is it?
Is it in the U.S. government? Is atheism within the U.S. government? I just want to know.
No, it's a secular government.
Would you choose a president that's an atheist?
I mean, if they want freedom, then yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Simon is an anarcho-capitalist.
I'm not
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
capitalist. Anarchists are fucking.
Yes, you are. Everything you describe is anarcho.
You said you didn't call him. You said you lied. You said you don't like the people listening. You just called him a retard.
I said.
Oh, you didn't say
He
that.
lies about you not being an
He lies
anarcho-capitalist.
about everything.
I I said
Iron
when it comes
A lot of people seem to pass the buck when it comes to the
I said
That's what the
the
kids
topic.
do.
They say, social media is to blame.
finish the sentence. I said
People
when it comes
ask you
to
one final question
being
before
a theist,
talking about it, time and
you reject the laws of logic. You're stupid. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're an anarchist, especially an anarcho-capitalist, you have evaded so many facts that you cannot I'm being tongue in cheek when I do call them retards because I know a lot of them, but I think that they hold a stupid and very evil position.
That's projection. That's Simon projecting, obviously.
I wish we could start from the beginning and you actually tell us something substantive that we can play into here, right? To compare Christianity to, because you're not really giving us much to.
He doesn't have anything to give, by the way. He just gave you his projection. That was all he gave you.
being in favor of capitalism.
Again, let's repeat back to him what he just said. That was his projection. He gave you what he has. That was it. And as we can all see, there's not much there. He's like a wet sponge.
So he's still a Christian then. He's still a Christian.
MashaAllah, brother.
What is your
He was a Catholic.
Yeah.
I was
I mean, once a Catholic, always a Catholic. So
That's
I
correct.
was 7 years old and God made no
same
sense.
for CM.
God made no sense at the age of 7. What the fuck did you know how to do at the age of 7?
He knew how to determine that he was an atheist because obviously now in his 30s, he's even more intelligent than he was when he was 7 years old. He's grown in intelligence, as you can see.
You can't even tie a shoe at 7.
I was tying my shoe at 4 or 5.
Dumb fuck.
I was tying my shoes at 4.
Is this your first time meeting Simon as he whispers in his closet as his fiance or girlfriend sleeps in the other room? This is what he does. He comes here, he says nothing. And you guys are wondering why you're frustrated? The man has nothing intelligent to say. Just challenge him to say one smart thing. He can't do it.
Just gonna ask the question.
Exactly. That's why I say he's like a wet sponge. There's just nothing there. You could squeeze it all you want, but you're not going to get anything but some water out of it. There's just no intelligence there. The man is like autistic. He's autistic, basically.
Too much of an autist. Not too much of schizoid.
He's neurodivergent like Abby, but unlike Abby, Abby escaped an actual biological lab in Ukraine near Chernobyl, and thus you see the mutant rat freak you know is Abby.
No, she's not from there. She's
Well, Simon's not far away. Simon was made in the library near the Ayn Rand section, and Simon actually, Anyways, if you guys are looking to discuss God, read a book. If you want to be annoyed, talk to Simon or Abby. I am complete.
Okay, I will give you something annoying. Simon thinks he eats 7,000 calories a day and still lose weight. 7,000.
oh yeah, eating his girlfriend's box. He's doing that.
Ew. Okay, that's disgusting. Anyway, that got debunked, by the way. Those were not 7,000. Nobody can eat 7,000 calories. Are you kidding me?
This motherfucker. You have any questions he asked today?
Not only was I actually tracking and giving you exactly the pictures of what I was eating.
Yeah, we tracked that funny. It was 3,000 or something.
Homie, that's explains for that in third addicts. There's no way. You're universal laws.
Not really. Not really.
It's another one of those amazing claims where he just asks questions all day long. Maybe he'll send you a picture or something. But again, if you think you're going to actually gain any kind of intelligence or anything useful or have any fun talking to Simon, you will be mistaken. It's not fun talking to Simon. It's not informative talking to Simon. He can't persuade you of anything. It's literally like talking to a wet sponge. Hi, wet sponge. What's new today? Squeeze. Nothing there? Great. Moving on.
Yeah, he's a Neil.
Megatron came all over the wet sponge.
Yeah, fuck that. Of course. And at the age of 7,
You already knew and understood the Trinity.
He knew all of 2,000 years of history and philosophy and worldview just by 7. The guy's Mozart.
Messiah. Yeah, all of the prophecies that led up to the Messiah. You could debunk every single polemic at the age of 7.
No, that's not
Roast.
So then how did you know that it was bullshit? What do you mean it didn't make sense?
I said it didn't make sense to me. My mom would say there's this.
You're lucky if Voltron makes sense to you at 7, let alone the fucking Bible. Are you serious?
Exactly. I'm not saying I was this like a genius kid. I just said the way it was described to me, it didn't make any sense.
I still don't understand Voltron.
Who does?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, let's just admit he's the Mozart of R words on this app. He learned all of human history by 7. He learned all of philosophy, mathematics, everything. By 7 years old, this guy figured it all out. So I want to welcome you all back to the Roast of Simon. Let's start the barbecue.
I'm not a Christian because at the age of 7, Thomas Aquinas was just so boring.
Actually, I think Thomas Aquinas is like one of the best thinkers. I actually really like Thomas Aquinas.
Great Christian. All right, Simon. A little bit of time went by, and I'm just kind of wondering what your worldview is.
Kitover, Megatron.
He is an objectivist while being very subjective.
Imagine being like a 7-year-old and saying, "Dad, why do you believe in God?" And he's like, "Well, son, I've been alive for 55 years. You've only existed for 7 years times 365 times 24 hours. You haven't actually read as many books as I have, son. You haven't experienced life the way that I have to know that miracles exist and that intelligence comes from books, my son." "But Dad, God is an illusion. You're just using your imagination." "No, son, I've been reading books, and you're only 7, son. Please wait till you're at least 50 and read a lot of books and experienced a lot of life till you make your final decision and determination." "Thanks, son." "But Father, I've read Ayn Rand in the library. Ayn Rand changed my life, Dad. And you never read Ayn Rand. You don't understand about Ayn. She's a genius, Dad, unlike you." "Well, son, that's just like your opinion." "I hate you, Dad. I wish you were dead, Dad. You're so stupid, you're delusional, Dad." "Okay, son, take it easy, son. Take it easy, son." No!
So here's where the real critique is going to come in, right? So I'm looking at what he's given me here so far, and I'm looking under what objectivism is in precise terms. So it says metaphysics, reality. Reality exists independently of perception, objective reality. Epistemology, reason, the only valid means of acquiring knowledge. She rejects faith as a method of knowing. Ethics, now this is the interesting one. Rational self-interest. The individual ought to pursue their own flourishing as a moral good. Now, that's kind of interesting because that same pillar almost mimics the one from the Secular Humanist Manifesto. So, right there on that, rational self-interest, anybody can rationalize themselves to anything, and the individual ought to pursue that as a form of flourishing, as a moral good, or as a moral good. It's not always going to narrow down to that, dude. That's not objective at all.
That's actually kind of subjective and selfish. What do you think of that, Simon?
Currently editing a video, and my girlfriend is in the other room sleeping, so I'll have to whisper. But if you haven't read Ayn Rand yet and determined the difference between object and subject and object, then you don't know how words work, and I don't have enough time to explain it to you. Sorry, my girlfriend's sleeping, and I gotta whisper in the other room.
You know what we should do though, Universe? We should study her for like a week, and I guarantee we'll know more about her in a week than he's known the whole time. You want to do it, Universe? Let's see who can reach. Let's see who can reach the epic levels first. All right, when do we start it? Start it now?
Start it now.
I'm not home, so you're gonna have a head.
Honestly, that'll actually be really
The
funny.
fucker's buying a book. He's buying her book right now. Guaranteed. Scumbag. He's buying her book right now. Piece of shit. And don't buy it on Kindle either. That's cheaping out. Because then he doesn't have to wait for it to deliver to his house. He's gonna have it like in 2 minutes. Fuck. I'm not even home yet. Rabbi, do you think you could know more about objectivism than Simon in a little time? Because this is his worldview, is this objectivism, and this woman Anne Rand. Is that her name? Anne Rand.
No, Ayn Rand. I'm buying the book right now. It's called Objectivism: The Philosophy of Ayn Rand by Leonard Peikoff. When we read this book, Simon will become so irrelevant, he'll just disappear.
Yeah, we're gonna know it. And what's today? Monday? Yeah, by Friday, we have to give a full thesis on this. So,
I mean, if we could actually do that, I would be really
I could do
impressed.
this. I could do this. Yeah, I'm gonna know more about this view than you do in a week.
Okay,
Guarantee it.
I've been studying it formally for like 8 years, but okay.
Have you?
Yeah.
8 years.
Well, some people read the Bible their whole lives and they never even understand it. So what does that tell us exactly, Dr. Simon?
You kept that to yourself.
Okay, I just bought the book, Ayn Rand Library, the Ayn Rand Lexicon, Objectivism from A to Z, and we're going to test Simon's knowledge of Ayn Rand philosophy.
No, we're gonna debate him on it. We're gonna own him on it. Like, I'm gonna become an objectivist by Friday.
Sure, let's do it.
I agree. I can't wait to see Simon disappear.
Wednesday morning, I'm gonna be debating Universe on this. Like,
Oop just bought another Ayn Rand book for $4 called The Virtue of Selfishness, the 50th Anniversary Edition. Have you read The Virtue of Selfishness, Simon?
Yeah, multiple times. You should probably read the Objectivist Epistemology, Intro to Objectivist Epistemology.
I'm sorry, you were mumbling. What did you say?
I said you should probably read the Intro to Objectivist Epistemology. That's
What does epistemology mean, Simon?
it's the study of human knowledge.
And what does objectivism mean?
Objectivism is just the name of the philosophy.
I know, but what does objectivism like? We have the word object, and then we have the word ism, correct? Because I don't think a lot of people know that objectivism is just materialism. Like the drum right here in front of me, or the table that my phone is standing on. Those are called objects. And so if I believe in an object, well, clearly I'm an objectivist. If I open up a book on philosophy and it's about a subject, well, then I guess I'm a subjectivist. Can I be a subjectivist and an objectivist? Hello?
hello? Hello?
No.
I can't be an objectivist and a subjectivist. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the R word who's been reading Ayn Rand for 8 years and can't even explain it because he's an R word. And that's okay. There are autistic people that live in facilities for their own safety because they can't actually take care of themselves. But Simon here, amazingly, actually, he works. He has a business or he has a job. But yet again, it's just not fun talking to him because there's just nothing there. I mean, but I could be mistaken. Maybe he's got a hot girlfriend and that redeems him. I hope so.
$7,000 eating box of shit.
It's amazing how stupid you can be that you can say there is no God, but yet the word itself exists, and so you can try to define it. Other people can try to define it, but you just say that that word is an illusion. It's just in your mind. It doesn't mean anything. Meanwhile, the word God itself can be translated into so many different words. What we're really doing is dealing with highly argumentative people that hate your choice of words or opinions of words. And these are stupid retards, ladies and gentlemen. People that should be despised in society because they're so obnoxious and so stupid and so fucking petty and retarded, like Simon.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. I think these fall under the rationalist camp when it comes to their epistemology. So they'll say words, give descriptions, but they can't actually, but they divorce the concepts from reality. So that's why like people start with definitions of what God is and all that, because they're missing the observation to tie the words to the object in reality.
Thank you for your projection on why you don't understand that God exists.
The sun is a god. Okay? You still haven't defeated that. And that's using an objectivist.
Using what? Sorry, you completely cut out.
This approach is
Well, the sun is not a god because just because the sun is the source of all light, and without the energy and the warmth, we wouldn't have life here on Earth. That doesn't prove that the sun is a god. My objectivist philosophical glossary and definition told me so. And so, I've refuted your claim with evidence, and I am now complete. Ayn Rand is a goddess, and if I could do Kundalinis on Ayn Rand's toes and every other part of her body, I would have loved Ayn Rand. She would have been the perfect wife, and I hope to God that one day I meet a woman like Ayn Rand who can make all my dreams of marriage come true. I am complete. It's a good thing to be selfish, and if everyone was selfish, then there wouldn't be any selfishness in the world, and no one would try to commit crimes or do anything evil or wicked or harm other people or abuse other people, because everybody would be practicing their own form of selfishness. I am complete.
Mr. Universe, why is it when I say this sun is a god, they're like, well, that can't be a god because he doesn't have a personality or a person. Like, what is that?
I think it's just because people aren't objectivists and they don't understand science and laws of nature and mathematics and philosophy and chemistry and biology, and therefore we have a failure to communicate true definitions. I'm complete.
Wait, math, logic, those things are transcendent. So obviously I could just use that as a god also.
I know, but you have to present evidence to support your hypothesis. If your experiment can't be repeated, well then it's not the scientific method. Without the scientific method, we don't know what is true. That's just your opinion. You don't understand the difference between truth and opinion.
They're eternal. They're unchanging.
Then I think we have to first define what is the difference between truth and opinion.
Truth is based on facts.
But is it your opinion that these are facts, or are the facts just merely opinions? You see, it's a fact that you're in the Matrix. It's not an opinion.
Ask you one final question before I
I think we've proven here beyond a reasonable doubt that Ayn Rand most definitely was the closest woman to ever achieve a union with God, because God is very selfish and objectivist and not a subjectivist. And therefore, again, I have to assert that if we could maybe get a genetic sample of Ayn Rand and bring her back to life, she could possibly be the Mashiach that we're looking for.
Wait, so wait a second. So what view are you taking of hers? Because I'm taking a theistic view of Ayn Rand. I'm taking the studies on, how they apply the things to universe.
Well, I've just ordered over 20 different Ayn Rand books, and by Friday I will be a subject matter expert, and then I will obliterate Simon once and for all.
I haven't got home yet, so he's got a head start. That's why I gotta keep talking to him.
I have been studying Ayn Rand since I was 7, when I found out that God wasn't real, just like Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. And when I realized that it was my dad dressed as this.
You're just saying that the logic is my God.
You can say that, but that's totally subjective, not objective, and it's your perspective. And so what we're trying to do is find out whether or not there are universal truths, just like there are laws of nature.
The laws of nature, yeah, sometimes they're universal. I don't even know what you mean. Laws of nature, universal. What is that?
Well, look at your PTR. Clearly something's going on there, and I would say that is reminiscent of the laws of nature, symbols and hieroglyphics, like you said, transcendental. Just like Ayn Rand, because when Ayn Rand had an orgasm, it was the best orgasm that a woman has ever had. Now, some might say that's subjective, but I witnessed Ayn Rand have the most exotic orgasm that a woman has ever had in a menage a trois. And see, sexuality and life choices, those things all come into play when we're determining whether or not Ayn Rand is the true Messiah.
So the real philosophical question on the laws of nature, right? Like Newton's laws of motion, general relativity. The twist here is, but these real laws, if these laws govern reality, are these real laws that govern reality, or are they just descriptions and patterns we observe? What are they?
Well, you could go in a ratchet-ass trench room, what we would call a bang room, and they will definitely say that they are pattern seekers and they recognize patterns. So since we all recognize patterns and people bring up the fact that they are pattern recognition seekers and pattern recognition observers, like everybody else, clearly they know the truth, my N-word.
The science assumes universality, but it doesn't prove it. It doesn't prove it. Modern science runs on assumptions, like experiments done here apply everywhere. No, they don't apply everywhere. They don't.
Well, have you ever taken the polio vaccine? Because I was just in a room with a Democratic APAC lawyer, Abby, and she was saying that the Jews cured polio, and then an African American gentleman said that the Jews also created polio. So who's right? Who's wrong? What's important?
How do we measure the speed of light? Do you remember? We can look it up. Is he still here? Hello? Hello?
Isn't that just like the distance that it takes light to travel between point A to point B?
Oh, wait, and back.
And back? Whoever said anything about going back?
Wait. No, we don't measure it that way, my friends.
How do we measure it then?
How do we measure it?
Hey, Grok, how do we measure the speed of light?
Simon, tell us. Is it one way?
I'm looking up a lot on this stuff, and I'm like finding that this philosophy has actually kind of been debunked
in a sense. Like when you actually, like I can't remember the other philosopher. I can't forget whose rule it was, but it's a particular rule where you can't violate your own inference rule. So even on the epistemology of the very said, philosophy that you're looking in here, Rand claims reason is the only means of knowledge. Faith is invalid. So like the counter here would be the claim itself cannot be proven by reason alone without circularity. So like you're violating your own inference rule there. And then it's a philosophical axiom, right? So we're getting into a Agrippus trilemma there. So you're falling under one of the horns of that, and it's not empirically or deductively proven as a result. So like, the system depends on an unprovable standing point while denying all others, like faith, that special pleading. So you even have an epistemic faith within this script itself. You fucking ran.
That's all it takes, buddy. That's all it takes.
That's part one.
Well, I don't really have the time right now to debate you on this. I'm busy with my girlfriend, and I gotta whisper so I don't wake her up so she doesn't break up with me. But what's important about Ayn Rand is that she was a publisher, and she wrote a lot of books about basically being selfish and conservative because the liberal left woke mob, which is taking over society.
That's what she looks like.
Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. No. You don't understand objectivism. And you haven't read enough. You're still just getting home. You haven't read enough Ayn Rand books yet.
Saying that like ethics based on rational interest, which I actually critiqued earlier, just kind of getting into it, but it says Rand says the moral good equals what advances the individual's life. So
There it goes. There it
morality
goes.
is grounded in self-interest, then that's conflict. If you have conflicting interests, no objective resolution based on conflicting interests or power or advantage can redefine rational. So you can push the line and say if two rational agents benefit from harming each other, what adjudicates that between them? That's the same shit in the fucking Secular Humanist Manifesto. I'm pretty sure, like this. It's not clear it's like rational self-interest, but it's like this democratic, like collective good for everybody type of thing that has the same kind of circular thing going for it.
It's trannies living in a commune. That's all it is. That's what it is. That's what it turns. That's what it boils down to.
Dude, I should make a music album called that. Trannies in a trailer park or something.
Nazi, they call them Nazi trannies. So it's such an idiotic thing. Pinheads. And Bob, he's got his baby in the background. He's caring for a child, but he hates life. It's like, dude. Like, how smart does he think he is?
I can't wait until his baby is going to transition. Let's see how much of he is gonna promote transgenders.
Yeah. No, Abby, it's worse. These gay parents don't even want gay children. They want to have grandkids. Think about that.
He has gay parents?
No, I'm saying gay parents don't even want their kids to be gay.
Yeah.
That's not true. From an objectivist perspective, Ayn Rand would say that gay parents want their children to be happy, and that just because the parents are gay doesn't mean the children will be gay, and that they should pursue whatever sexuality that their soul tells them to pursue. And we've got Caleb down there who marries men underneath the chuppah, even though he's breaking Torah law, and he thinks he's just trying to make people happy, and he thinks he's doing good in the world. But really, he should try to teach them that why having, anal intercourse with another man and sucking another man's cock is like totally gay. And you should like pursue a woman who will love you. And like they should also understand that natural law means that man and woman together is the true symbol of God, because in the Zohar it says that where a man and a woman are united, there you will find the Holy Spirit, the Paraclete, the Shekinah. And so if you truly want a union with God, or if you're a Slapist, or you believe in Gnosticism, you gotta get with a woman. You can't do it with a man's booty hole. Hello.
I did come to the conclusion the other day that basically solipsism is just Gnosticism translated into Slopicism. If you think that Gnosticism isn't the exact same thing as Slopicism, solipsism, I mean, I just don't. Can you defend that? Hello?
We call them nihilistic, solipsistic, nihilistic, hard determinists that think they're in a brain of Apple. Solipsistic, nihilistic, hard determinists. That's what they are.
Oh my god.
Wait, you said they think they're in like a brain vacuum or something?
Well, they say they could be a brain in that.
A brain in a what? A brain in a vat?
I think it's just sensory experience. They don't believe in in the id.
Got it. Well, you know what I really like is books, because books prove to me that time is a concept and that the now is all important. However, history books are a motherfucker, especially the ones that I'm looking at right now from 1946, because there are a lot of dumb motherfuckers on this app that want to say a lot of racist shit. But when I show them the books and I show them the pictures and all the research and the hard work that these publishers put into these books, it will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they are trash and that they are just here projecting hate speech because they're losers. And I've got books. I'm not saying that I'm privileged. I'm saying I got books. And a lot of people on this app, they can go fuck themselves. Real bad. Fuck themselves real good. Because they're pieces of trash. Human trash.
Why are Simon leaving?
He's still in the audience. In the content audience.
Oh. Can we, what should we call it, go over this woman's, metaphysics? Yeah, metaphysics.
Okay, one of her philosophy is when you see a child drowning in the water, you're not gonna go save it. You just let it drown.
So she wouldn't have a fence. She wouldn't have a fence around her pool if she has a child.
No, like maybe natural water. She will just let the child die.
Crazy.
So I Googled what are Ayn Rand's most controversial statements. This is what it says.
So this is the objective reality, the metaphysics. Objective reality doesn't lead to her ethics. Rand starts with reality is objective, fine, but that does not logically entail like capitalism, or it does not entail egoism. This is the gap you move from what is to what ought to be without justification. This is the ought problem famously articulated by David Hume.
Government is a menace. She regarded government as a dangerous threat to man's rights, arguing that its only legitimate purpose is to protect against physical force, as discussed on. Yeah.
I figured that one. That's.
Also,
I'm gonna protect my rights.
on religion, she equated believing in God with not believing in life, claiming that placing a higher power above one's own life is a sign of lack of self-worth. As they like to say in the community, worth.
Toofs. They got teeths. They got two toofs.
She defines femininity as the essence of femininity is hero worship, the desire to look up to men. That's how she defined femininity. She wrote, I swear by my life, my love of it, that I will never live for the sake of another man, nor ask another man to live for mine. That's from Atlas Shrugged. And when Abby was saying that, Ayn Randians wouldn't save the dying baby in the river, I think that's a little ridiculous, but that's what Abby does. It says here, the virtue of selfishness, Rand argued that pursuing one's own rational self-interest is the highest moral purpose, rejecting the idea that people should sacrifice themselves for others. So it says it's the highest moral purpose, but is it the most intelligent purpose? Hello?
Well, she negates altruism. So there's no altruism in any of this.
Oh, Steven's here.
So she didn't have any kids? She didn't have any kids?
No, she had 16 abortions. Unfortunately, she couldn't menstruate after the 17th abortion. She was a big member of Planned Parenthood. She herself was an abortion doctor part-time. She got a pension from Planned Parenthood in 1965. Anyways.
She couldn't marry a Muslim because then she would have to go to the Iddah period, and she would never get a period, so then she couldn't get married to a Muslim.
Speaking about.
They always think she's pregnant.
Oh,
here's the fucking critique on this. This kind of just this whole thing just reduces down to metaphysical individualism. So that's what I'm getting off of.
I mean, isn't all of religion? I mean, I would hope that your transcendental religion would be personal, selfish metaphysicalism or transcendentalism or. Anyways, what we're trying to say is, oh, Cora's here. Hi, Cora. Don't worry, Cora. I won't hit my bell. Welcome to Is Atheism and Ayn Rand a Worldview?
It says a, not ein.
Well, Regal's kind of busy right now. Don't worry about it.
Isn't it Randianism like a view? I don't know.
It's objectivism. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Another word for atheism.
Oh, did I spell that wrong?
No, you spelled it right.
Did I spell it right?
Yeah.
Ayn Rand? No, you got it right. No, you got it right. It's Ayn Rand. Yeah. Ayn Rand.
See, my complaint is that people just don't like the LARPers Club, the book club, the poetry club, the debate club. And so they just declare, there is no God but man, and that objectivism is the truth of the earth. But then that denies subjectivism, which is just subject. So if you just believe in object, but you don't believe in subject, well, then you must just be a deaf mute, a retard, a Down syndrome sufferer, someone who hates the book club. Hello?
What if you think that self doesn't exist in like a real sense? It's just an illusion.
No, I believe in the self with the little s and the self with the big
There's
S.
no distinction between anything. When things are illusional, then there's no real distinction. Everything is just one.
That's how the ancient
I don't think that follows though.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Okay, so explain your non-monistic view.
Because you can just say that it's like a monism with like emergent pluralities. So it's not actually one in terms of its essence. It's one in terms of its like negation or contradictory elements.
Exactly.
So it is what it's not?
Well, yeah, that would be necessary to its identity.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's not crazy if there are true contradictions.
Well, everything has a contradiction. Every argument has its counter argument, just like action and reaction, or art critic and artist. And so there is this dualism and this non-dualism. The non-dualism is what we're talking about when we talk about slopicism, or solipsism, and Taoism, or even Enlightenment, transcendental mythology, and mysticism, like Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, the greatest comedian and mystic who's ever lived. Hello?
Yeah, Barth, you could just hold it like non-classical logic for that sort of view to work.
You see,
I'm not a computer that's defragging myself that can believe in true contradictions. So I'm gonna have to operate in the real world.
Oh, the point is that like there are examples of true contradictions in the real world.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Grand Prix gives like plenty of examples. I'd be like sympathetic towards his view.
No, I get it. I get it. I mean, I'm putting the tarp over my, foundation. They said it's gonna rain. Do I definitely know it's gonna rain? No. Am I gonna take the chance and having to pump out all the water of this ditch instead of just putting a tarp over it with a pump, so that if water does get in there, I don't have to go crazy doing this the next day when I get there in the morning? And I'm still hiring the guy to get there at 5 to check the pumps. So, what if it never rains? Is it a contradiction? Yeah, never happened.
Well, again, I just want to go back to the book club, meaning that there is a chemical or a literal biological experience that is happening, which is subconscious, which is the neurotransmitter in your brain as a result of using this app and having these conference calls with other people. And to me, that's the most interesting part of this, that through our words and communication, or our displeasure with one another and our personalities, we can actually create an experience, a happening. And unfortunately, there are just so many people on this app that are just learning English for the first time that you have to realize it's just an ELS support group app for people that don't speak English so good and stuff, kind of like, Zoolander.
Like the ones that say ELS instead of ESL.
Yeah. It's the Zoolander nonprofit book club for kids that can't read good books so good and stuff. And so I have started a nonprofit here on this app and with the state of Illinois to raise money and help people read books again instead of talking endlessly to generate the dopamine. Because the truth is, it would be better if we just read books to each other instead of, yelling at each other and just passing off emotional discharges instead of actual intelligence. I am complete. Ooh, look at Kitty's PTR. You went full blue steel!
Did you see Hillary? This is a perfect example of the abundant hypocrisy of the left.
I love this one.
I think we gotta have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows if they've committed a crime.
Well, it looks like we have achieved a catharsis of complete and total relaxation.
I would just like to read from the book Muhammad, Charlemagne, and the Origins of Europe by Richard Hodges. This is page 55. It says, Heraclius's victory distracted the world from the birth of a religious and political movement which was to overwhelm large parts of Asia and North Africa. Islam. When the Prophet Muhammad died in 632,
He was barely known beyond the Hejaz. Nevertheless, his movement, reinforced by the economic conditions in the Arabic Peninsula, produced an explosion almost without parallel. Within a century, Islam had tens of millions of subjects from the Atlantic to the Indus, attacking simultaneously on several fronts. Small bodies of mounted zealots ripped into old empires of Byzantium and Persia. By 640, the Islamic hordes attacked the Byzantines, and they had lost Palestine and Syria. In 642, they lost Alexandria. Between 673 and 677, Constantinople faced a series of attacks. In 698, it was the turn of Carthage. 12 years later, the Arabs crossed into Spain and struck northwards into Provence. At the same time, in 717, Constantinople faced its most serious siege yet, which lasted 12 months through a severe winter. After the Arabs withdrew, Leo III, from 717 to 741, the newly crowned emperor, held the city. We may speculate whether this or the victory of Charles Martel at Poitiers in 732 was the event that symbolized the end of the Arab expansion in the West. In the mid-8th century, the vast Islamic empire suffered its first political strains, and the Umayyad dynasty of caliphs was overthrown by the Abbasids, who shifted the Islamic capital to Baghdad. The Abbasids.
Okay, thank you. That was John Kitover. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Cora, are you still there?
Yes.
Hi, how's it going? How you doing today?
I'm fine.
You're fine. When you think of that, do you think atheism is a worldview?
No.
Fair enough. Yeah, we were just having this discussion with this guy Simon, and he, wasn't very clear about that. That's how all this came about. And then he said this is kind of what's supporting his views here.
You can't build a worldview on the answer to a single question.
Sure. Anyway, I think I'm gonna jump off for a few. Do you want me to donate the room to you? You can change it around or make, set the topics if you want. I'm gonna jump off for a bit. I gotta make dinner, dude. Can't stay on here all day.
Alright, have fun.
Hello?
Why is because you have to have an event that immediately affects Americans for Americans to sacrifice their dollar. American consumers.
Took out NGOs. Well, we took away NGOs. Think about it. If we took away NGOs, there'd be less confusion when it comes to moving around digits. My opinion. Excuse me, hold on, Mr. NPC. I do apologize for interrupting. But I'm hearing a lot of great dialogue talking about issues in California. But but the big thing that needs to be brought up is why is taxation so aggressive over there? Because let's take the most simplistic thing, like we're talking about the forestry. Okay, Norm brought up a very critical thing, and he even wrote a paper. He said about it, by basically controlling the ecosystem by eliminating dead debris, which naturally is fuel for fires. Well, let's think about this. Why did they deny controlled burns to destroy it? Why? Because someone convinced a politician that it's going to be bad for the environment. And you could trace it down to, have a good sense of humor. Figure out, break down everything that's asked from the state of California, from the federal government, or not from the federal government, but asked in the taxes. And then if you look where it goes into that element, then do a FOIA report, a FISA report, and then realize, hey, why is it kicked to an NGO? Why is there multiple NGOs handling a specific subject? And then when you dive into it, oh wait, why do we have third-party contractors coming in to do forestry surveying? Why do we have third-party contractors coming in doing biological, engineering or biological survey? Why are we third-party in it? Why? So that way we can find out where the money's being funneled. You're paying so much taxes. Because in my personal dumb opinion, and you guys probably going to tell me I'm dumb for saying it, is when you have NGOs, you have an excuse to move money around. That they're going to have to, instead of a FISA report, they're going to have to go to, they're going to subpoena documents, subpoena the books, figure out where the money's getting tracked, and we all know that could be a 12 to 24 month process. That's simple as that. That's just my dumb opinion. Thank you for the 30 seconds.
Well, where did the $25 billion for homelessness go? We don't even know.
No, listen, it doesn't matter how much money the government wastes. It doesn't matter how inefficient. We have to keep coming up with examples. Anybody have any examples? You have to prove how inefficient the government in California does. You know, does anyone else have any more examples?
I care, Fergus.
We don't care
down a pit.
Because life is as simple, politics is as simple as this. Get more money from the rich and everything else is going to solve itself. Once we have more money, it's just going to solve the problems.
No, dude,
It's not about anything other than that.
minimizing it down to just that is like being disingenuous about what's being said.
It's management of more money and wealth. That's the problem. How do we manage it? How do we tax people with a lot of money? It's like it's something new. It's a new phenomenon. It's like, how old is it?
Well,
Within the last 10 years, people are like billionaires. We haven't seen this before. How are we going to deal with that? We have to.
When you see it in France, they did it, and the millionaires and billionaires just left France. That's all that happened.
Yeah, and like I don't know what people aren't living in reality. Someone just said that Elon Musk is the richest person on the planet. If you believe, the reason why my name is NPC is for people like you. If you believe that Elon Musk is the richest person on the planet on the planet doesn't even report their income. And they're probably somewhere in Saudi Arabia or some shit. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, when I say these like really, really extreme things, that's what y'all are saying. Because when you guys talk about taxing people, you speak in a way as if the government, whether federal or state, has a track history of using that money effectively. If this was like fucking like a Robin Hood, if this was a situation where you're actually taking from the rich and giving to the poor, maybe you could justify it, but that's not even happening. You talk as if that's happening. The government takes $1, it spits out a nickel, gives a nickel to the poor person, and then the 95 cents goes somewhere else.
It goes to administering the 5 cents.
It goes, and then you guys speak as if like, and then you speak as if a person wants low taxes, they just are helping the rich. But you're gonna make poor people poor and rich people.
I mean, like,
Would you rather keep taxing poor people and then giving it back to Elon in the form of subsidies? Because that's what's happening. You're saying, why would we tax rich people? The government's not going to use it efficiently to give it back to poor people. Well, why the fuck would we tax poor people and give it back to rich people inefficiently? What stupid fucking logic is that?
Poor people don't pay taxes.
Is it
so? Everybody pays some form of taxes.
Did you know that Elon is rich because of subsidies? Because of taxpayer money?
He got rich way before he got any subsidies.
He's stop taxing poor people to give the money to rich people.
Poor people in California absolutely do pay taxes, by the way.
Because even
I'm a poor person and I pay taxes. Like, I'm a poor person and I pay taxes. And y'all,
like when you buy liquor or cigarettes.
no, I have income taxes. I have no idea why I have income taxes, but there's something.
Well, they gave a bad account.
So y'all, he's not Norm, he's not a Jew, so pretty bad account. He's not a Jew. So y'all,
We used to
what
have
I'm saying.
a hierarchy structure that worked. And it worked because it was based on something, the whites created it, and it worked. And those were like the old type of white people, maybe European, with some aristocratic background, but like a pedigree. And then suddenly Americans, like idiots like Bill Gates and Elon Musk, they come into the picture, and then they become like the new types of riches. But that's what communism, like China's communism, is benefiting from. Is like that sort of power structure have now somehow been diminished where it actually worked and they could have nothing against it. But because of these fucking monkeys like Elon Musk, okay, so what?
Wow.
He copies
Fucking calling a monkey.
fucking time.
That's
And he
racist.
does like what?
Fucking calling a monkey. You guys are complaining about taxes.
It's because Elon Musk is African American. You don't.
Yeah, that is filthy. We don't allow.
No, but she's not even coherent.
You have to. It's a mismanagement of your minorities.
We need to make the whites great again in America.
Wait, can y'all? All right, so BB.
Can you let her finish her statement, bro?
No, she literally interrupted me. Literally to be retarded.
Can I get in the key?
Like literally nothing she said. And I let her say it because I wanted to see where she'd go, but she's completely coherent. Like nothing she said. Nothing that she said was anything. So why can't I land? She's incoherent, cannot interrupt me. Okay, talking incoherent.
By the way.
So at the end of the day, if giving governments more money solves problems, the only thing I'm saying is this: the way that the progressive tax system is now, a philosopher can go over if it's fair or not, but we all know that increasing the amount of money that people are paying in taxes, first of all, is the biggest lie that they do. These taxes end up hitting everyone eventually. The second thing is that increasing the amount of money isn't going to solve the problem. So if increasing the amount of money isn't going to solve the social problems that we want money to do, then what's the point of increasing the thing? That's my only point. If we know that, hey, increasing the amount of money is not going to lead to the result that we want, then what's the point of increasing taxes? If it did, I'd have no problem with increasing taxes.
That's
We're going to end up with
insanity.
people.
Exactly. Expecting different.
NPC, can I make a minute statement to you? Just a minute one. The reality is, okay, yeah, we have taxes, but a smart man knows how to play the taxes. They just read, and like Mr. Normo said to you, if you want counseling, talk to him. Freaking a simple Edwards Jones or even a money guy or gal will sit there and talk to a company worker. You don't have to be a small business guy or gal. You just gotta be smart with your money. I'm just trying to help you out.
That's right.
The reason why I'm saying that, boss, is I'm gonna say this. Orange Man said this in 2016 when he was asked, but your friends all got the same government tax write-offs. Why? Because they put it in place. That you don't have to be a billionaire or millionaire to get the same subsidies like Mr. Jowl was complaining about. You just gotta be smart and learn how to read a little bit and learn where your state politicians that are trying to be crooked on the back end. You just gotta learn how they put them out there in plain sight because that's how they gotta operate.
You just need a clever account. You just need a clever account.
You just gotta learn how to play the game. Just gotta learn how to play the game.
Well, I want to put to rest this idea that Elon Musk got all of these subsidies from the government. Yes, he got money from the government. You know what he got it for? He got it first for SpaceX because he was doing something the government couldn't do. Now, the left likes to talk about all their NGOs And all of these organizations that get billions of dollars of government to carry out policies that the government wants to get done. And when it's doing something like helping feed poor people in East Mongolia who need education on the difference between leftist and right, and leftists, need to be educated on leftist queer artwork in New York City as it developed in the 1950s, they're happy to fund governments like that. But when it comes to Elon Musk,
I want to see pictures of lesbians doing scissors. Why not?
They funded him because of SpaceX and all of the satellites and everything else and the advancement in space technology that he was providing. The second thing they funded him for was for Tesla, which what has the left been pushing for years?
Electric vehicles.
Oh yeah, electric vehicles. And so they gave him, like every other state, like every other locality, they gave him tax benefits. Why? Because if he didn't do it in California, he was going to go to Tennessee or maybe Arkansas. Guess what? There was competition between the states. So yes, he got money to do those things. And
That's right.
So that people, us the consumers, would benefit, number one, from the space technology that the government couldn't do, and number two, from electric vehicles. And those are things that I think, forgive me for my extreme example, but I think those things are more beneficial to us as Americans than, say, trying to teach a mother in East Mongolia about the history of leftist.
They're drag queens. Drag queens.
Thank you.
Drag queen story are in Afghanistan.
What? What is that? Is that a thing?
Yeah,
So the U.S. government funding the U.S. government funding like transgender plays in Brazil,
Studies and all that, yeah.
But that's fine.
Oh, was that why George Santos was in Brazil?
Well, I mean, like that. Wouldn't that just come from a different part of budget?
Yeah, that really comes more from
And like we have no overlap.
All of our money though.
But it's still taxpayer money in spirit. But my question to you is what do you think about? So it's not so. No. So if it's not taxpayer money, what is it?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, it is. It's outlined in the budget.
No. But what else would
in
it be?
Congress? This has been outlined in the budgets. All of this weird spending for shit like that.
Sure.
Well, even if it goes abroad, it doesn't mean that it should go to stuff that could be.
Wait. So this is my. So I like to have real conversations. So Xerxes, given what everyone has said, let's assume that let's assume for the sake of conversation that increasing the amount that we tax rich people isn't gonna solve our social problems when it comes to homelessness, when it comes to education. Let's assume
tried to already have failed.
Can you let him ask the question? Thanks.
So my question is, if we are looking to tackle these problems without raising taxes, where would you start? Or do you even think it's possible?
Reallocate funds from the police.
Police?
Number one. Yeah, this is not. Well, this is not like a.
Never mind.
This is not like a defund kind of situation, but I do know that there's like an immense amount of like unnecessary tensions. Excuse me, no, this is not. No, if you guys are gonna ask me a question, please at least let me answer. Okay.
Why would you take money away
So,
from the police?
I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain it.
Let her explain.
Yeah.
So I know that
working men and women.
No, I'm taking money away from things. So like extra. Oh my God! Do you guys do this all the time?
Do they not bleed?
I'm sure they do. So helicopters, new fleets of Teslas and Chargers, things that are like not actually necessary
And
like not oh my god. Can you shut up, David? Can you shut up?
They took it away.
Can you shut up? Did somebody ask you this question? Thank you. And just taking just taking like, you know, shaving off a little bit each year and just reallocating those funds to somewhere else, to lots of other places.
No, but okay, so
to schools primarily.
Y'all listen, so built into the question is the premise that money can't solve the problem.
Yeah.
So
No,
so even
like
so
even can't solve
no
the
so no I'm dog. I made the hypothetical. How are you gonna tell? The hypothetical is that adding money won't solve the problem. So taking away money from a police officer's new Tesla, or making sure that the sheriff office of Bay County doesn't get a new tank, like taking away their like making sure that they don't have any access to nukes and taking away their money, like the police making sure that they're gutted. No, because they're a terrorist organization. We're talking about the police, the worst people in the world. So taking away money from those people is not going to do anything because my question is, money can't help the situation. How can you help other than money? No matter how much money you add,
and risking their lives every day for like people like me. So I don't know whatever kind of mindset you come from, but I don't think that's fair.
So long story short, the hypothetical situation is you can't add money anywhere. You can't take away money from anywhere. Adding money is not going to solve this problem at all. What would you do to help the problem?
Nothing moves without money, dude. Sorry.
We'll all volunteer it.
That might work somewhere else,
There's a lot
but
of
nothing
things
moves
that
without
money
money.
doesn't help. I mean, like for example, improving spending. The more you spend on a school doesn't mean it's going to do better. In fact, there's like a minimal amount you need to spend. But Bill and Melinda Gates ended up figuring this out well over a decade ago, and they ended up realizing, well, it's you have to focus on a lot of things outside of the school to really make any kind of fucking difference. And often that could be well. It's so there's so many things. What control can you have? Like, for example, how were you raised? What kind of parents do you have? Are they even around? Do you have what kind of environment do you have? Money can't even change that.
It can.
No, it can't actually. I mean, for example, I work. No, it can't. I'll tell you why. When I was working with the mentally ill population here in my county, you had the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community, which has very large casinos and spring training facilities. They bring in a lot of money. Everybody gets a per cap check every 3 months. Mm-hmm. They make a lot of money. Now, they had a lot of issues. This is intergenerational. What they ended up having to do is once the per cap checks were coming in, they're like, oh shit, they're partying. There goes the domestic assaults, the drunk driving incidents, everything, but they're still not doing any better. The kids are still fucking up. They ended up having to put a whole bunch of these people on forced payees to make sure that they don't go out doing drugs with their money. They had to get a bunch of services basically to help the kids and to do a lot of foster parenting, honestly. And so and we don't have the ability to do this for everybody in America. So
I'm not talking about everybody in America. I'm talking about California. What everybody else in America wants to do is fine. Yeah. So when I say like putting things into schools, this means like reintroducing like post-elementary after-school programs, something that I think actually disincentivizes young people to continue their education, to stay engaged. They don't have places to go, so they run the streets. Like things that like people like Alan and Alan and Normo kind of had these structures. It's not about what the school's job is. They asked me how else could it help, right? So like when I say school, so when I say school, I'm sorry, Normal, I didn't hear what you said.
What structure do I have? I didn't
Oh, like, okay, so like back in the before times in the 1900s, like you guys had like social programs, right?
I don't think no
That
one was
were-
alive in America.
No, there were none.
There were none.
We had social.
None in your
We
time.
had a lot less social programs in the first half of the 20th century than we did in the latter half. A lot of people don't really realize this too. A lot of those immigrants that you saw come here from Europe, a big chunk of them ended up having to go home because there was zero safety nets for them.
Yeah.
And so poor people were a lot poorer back then. But even then, you can save money and all these. But why is one of the poorest communities in New York City? Why are their kids? Why do they outperform every other group? And that's the Chinese. Literally, more than half of them live under the poverty
I have a
line.
question.
They do better than every group.
I don't know, dude.
It's
Okay,
because
I have
the
a question
Chinese
for
control
Tony.
the media. It's cultural.
I mean, they have a whole part of
Yeah,
town.
there might be cultural pressures from the parent to achieve.
Well, then maybe there's culture that needs to change in America too, because it seems like it's not money; it's got culture.
Wait, did you just say the oppression? Did you just say the oppression to achieve?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I said there might be cultural pressures to achieve. Like this is like a common narrative amongst migrant, refugee, and immigrant people who live in America.
You're right, but so my thing is like, all right, so we don't really have any answers on what to do other than add more money and the problem's gonna go away. But
what? No, I was in the middle of giving more answers before I got jumped on.
my bad.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all good.
But you can go ahead. I didn't know you were.
Yeah, like incentivize more, I guess like extracurricular support for kids that is like low to no cost. And this is not like just like straight up babysitter shit. This is like, oh, let's build leaders type shit. You know what I mean? Like if the world's gonna be STEM, let it be STEM. If the world's gonna be politics, let it be politics. Definitely increase civics classes and make like that compulsory learning, like up and down, offer free classes.
Like an electrician or something.
Okay, yeah, and that's cool. So make sure that the opportunities for
How
apprenticeship.
This doesn't improve.
Well, what about the current homeless? No. What about because like?
You don't want to know my thoughts on homelessness. This is probably gonna make me the worst person in the world.
No, I mean the current homelessness, like the current homelessness. How are you?
Okay, Othello, did you hold on, NPC? Othello, did you have something to say? I'm sorry, I'm talking so much.
No, I was saying that they don't want to know any of your thoughts because they keep talking over you every time you speak.
Oh, I mean, it's fine. I have a twin sister, so I'm used to being spoken over.
I'm just curious though, because if you were to look at you know the people that you see sleeping in tents and that kind of homelessness out in California. Like once again with that job that I had, this is something that was always talked about, and California is kind of a dumping ground for a lot of those people for reasons. These are what we consider long-term homeless. The vast majority of homeless people never end up out on the street like that. These are almost all people that are seriously mentally ill, drug addicted, but oftentimes both. And that is a population that is incredibly hard to deal with. So, like, I can give you an example. You can put the seriously mentally ill here, like in my county. You can find a place for them to live. We have funding for that. Now, if that seriously mentally ill person wants to do drugs, they can't do drugs where they live. Staff aren't gonna. They'll get kicked out. They can't have drugs at a federally or a state funded program. And so where do they go? On the fucking street? And it's this very sad situation, but a lot of this is it's not as simple as it looks. But when you look at California, they waste so much fucking money. It is, I mean, taxes is robbery in
So I have
California.
a question, Pepe. In this case, is it okay for the government to scoop them up and fuck them somewhere else and not let them fucking shit all over your streets, bring the fucking property values down, and it's like almost like they're doing some political parties bidding, and that's why they're allowed to be doing these things, because to be honest, they probably could, if they wanted to, if they really wanted to, they could be rehabilitated, but sometimes these people don't
but
really
there's usually the
But
relapse.
if they don't,
It usually takes multiple attempts if they ever get
put
clean.
them
That's the
somewhere
reality.
else. Why do they have to do it in fucking prime location and shit on everybody else's parades?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, so Pepe, I'm just gonna address quickly what you said, and then we can move on. Like, homelessness for me is like a different type of issue. As a person who was homeless during the pandemic, I learned a lot about homelessness. I learned how invisible you feel and how people treat you, and I wasn't mentally ill or drug addicted. I definitely lost both my parents during this time and 5 of my family members. And so, you know, if I were built of tougher stuff, I think I would have easily sunken into the place that's claimed, you know, more than 260,000 people in California. So to me, the way to address this is to do it before, right? So like for the people who are about to lose their home, they're likely mostly families or struggling whatever entertainer thing. Create pathways so that is not as much of a future for them as it definitely is here. I can't just think of, you know, of what those things might be right now, but I'm sure that it's better than, you know, asking for money and then being like, poof, it's gone. I understand, you know, what everybody's been saying about missing money and promise projects and stuff. So this is one of those ways. Like, homeless prevention is a way to prevent, like, not just, you know, family, but people entering into a space where now you are drug addicted, now you are mentally ill, now you're slipping. And for a lot of people who are homeless, you don't want to leave homelessness because it offers you a pathway to freedom, as opposed to being locked up in a system where you have to follow people's rules, and that's not something that you've been used to for the, I don't know, X number of years you've been homeless, right?
I can kind of get what you're saying, but I just want to make one little point, and that's that this. When I say mental illness, that's, you're almost always referring to the SMI system, seriously mentally ill. So that's going to be schizophrenia and that kind of stuff, which always precedes the homelessness and the drug addiction. They usually end up, I don't know if you've known drug addicts, but it's often, and their life ends up spiraling. They end up not being able to keep, you know.
Yeah, I'm aware. It's incredibly hard to battle back from that, for sure. So I would also bring back mental health facilities, aka like the loony bin, but make it like less inhumane and more ethical. You know what I mean? The reason they closed down in the first place.
The problem is that our fucking population is like spiraled out of control. It's like maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, it would be easy just to put people away in like these asylums that were like almost like, you know, like 4, 3, 4-star hotels. But today, it's like there's so many of us.
No, they really were. I don't know maybe that's on the East Coast.
There's so many of us. So even if it's like, let's say society was trying to like deal with like that part of their communities, it's like, how are we going to find funding for that? Where are we going to put them? And it's like, but maybe some more emphasis.
Well, no, she's like,
put on this instead of like, you know, maybe we have to come to that. Sorry.
What she said she felt invisible when she was homeless. Now, that is almost entirely true of the homeless and seriously mentally ill population. They tend not to be civically engaged. They tend to have no fucking voice anybody will listen to. Nobody is gonna, you know, unlike, I don't know, some of the lobbying groups who are gonna fucking hound all of the politicians to get, you know, favors and, you know, spending on things that will benefit them and help make them more money. The homeless they have nothing.
I mean, yeah, unless, you know, and it's hard, unless you are a person who is like, you know, was civically minded before you entered homelessness. I mean, like, once that time in your life levels out, you become, I've seen, incredibly energized to speak on other people's behalf. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a grueling process, and like, you know, I'm kind of split. I think a lot of people come to California, especially Southern California, to just kind of use it up for its wares. I wish those people would go back to where the fuck they came from, instead of being on meth in 6 months and becoming homeless. I wish that this wasn't a city of dreams that makes people delusional, so that they could go back to Iowa, Montana, Idaho, Ohio, like Kentucky.
I would much rather be in Southern California than.
Of course, because it is actually climatically more lucrative for people to be. You literally will. I mean, like, weather-wise, you are less likely to die. Other people, good luck to you, but at least you won't die in the snow and nobody will find your body until it thaws. Okay, so like, I understand that part, but it can't continue to be like that with just no services for those people to actually actively engage in, right? And all of that takes active work, and it takes people who actually are dedicated and really care about the state. And I don't think, the one criticism I will make right now of the government in California is that I think we have like some politicians on both sides and in the middle. Shout out independents and fucking libertarians who just don't give a fuck about the state, and they care about power, and they care about their voice, only theirs. Right, and their families, and like the intents of their, of their legacy, their lineage, or what they came from, or whatever. And really, the state's too big for it not to be a collective effort, and for people not to, not work together, but just be down to be progressive and move forward, trying whatever. So, there are a lot of solutions that could help a lot of things. Is it any of that shit gonna happen? No. People only respond to suffering, so may the best man win.
And sometimes I remember. So I have this one coworker. She doesn't eat any processed food. Okay, our office is on the 13th floor. Okay, we have elevators, really, really high-tech elevators. Every single morning, she elects to use the stairs, okay? She's rich as hell. Like, she's rich as hell. She's like 65. She's like the most healthy person I've ever seen. No sugar, no processed foods. And it's not because she's diabetic. She's just super, super healthy for some reason. And she saw me eating a Pop-Tart, right? And when she saw me eating the Pop-Tart, it was like I was eating sewage. Like, she was like, oh my God, how can you handle that? That's too much. That's too sweet. To me, it was heaven. When you look at some homeless people in California, they're in heaven. There isn't any money that you can give them to not make them an addict, because that's what addiction is. Coming from a former addict myself. Like, that's what addiction is, a mental health issue. So the reason why I asked you the question I asked you, Xerxes, is because through this conversation, we're starting to realize that there are so many human problems that are much bigger than writing a check away. And the homelessness is one of those problems. They actually have access to services. A lot of them don't want to live within the perimeter to receive those services. You can't force them to. You can't put a gun to their head. The other problems we're talking about, the home issue. The reason why the homes are expensive in California is because the people who are upper middle class who own the homes are really, the middle class is keeping the lower class out of owning homes. It's not even the rich. It's not even BlackRock. It's middle class people wanting to have their homes appreciate, so they're just against multifamily properties in their neighborhoods, which increases artificially the price of homes. That's why the single family home issue in some parts of California is an issue. And that's because of democracy. Like, people voted for that, so you can't take that away, because it's not rich people who are doing it, it's middle-class Americans who are fucking doing this. So there's so many problems that are just bigger than you just point money at it and then it goes away. These are humans with different interests and free will.
But that's why, again, it's the minimizing of just pointing money at it. Like, this isn't just, when I say reallocate funds, or when I say tax whoever, right? It's not just like suck up the money and then like.
So then it's not about money though. It's how when you say reallocate, I'm saying, and when you're saying tax.
Listen to what I'm saying.
I'm saying. This discussion's over. I'm gonna go. You can go anytime.
Yeah. When I say that, I mean like there has to be a flow of where the money goes. It has to be efficient. People who are trustworthy and not crooks, which is a problem in different places here have to be in charge of this stuff, and there has to be a set of checks and balances and an efficient model of getting this stuff rolled out. Not just because the World Cup is coming, not just because the Olympics will be here in 2 years, because people are suffering, whether it be in the sun or in the shade. So.
The dude, his name is Sam. He's the dude who created FTX, and he's in jail for stealing all that money. Yes, Sam Altman, right? So this is what makes me uncomfortable.
You're saying Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried, that dude. So what makes me uncomfortable is that certain people have a higher sensitivity to the greed of the private market, but they don't have that sensitivity to the obvious corruption, greed, and the same things happen within government. At least in a private market, when a person's being greedy, they're greedy with something that they earned. They might have earned it by cheating, or a lot of them don't cheat.
MPC, can I just say something? I just think
No, BB. Why ask a question and not? No, you can't. You can't say something. And then Monica's after me. So the whole thing I'm saying is that
it was her before you. But
actually, then she can go now. Monica, you want to go now? Monica.
Yeah. Hi guys. Scotty, is this your room? It's a great title. Very interesting. Y'all are on homeless in California though, so I do want to talk about the topics. Are y'all ready for us to circle back, or you need me to wait a little longer?
No, that's what we're talking about.
your incentive, Monica.
Alright, so I think it'd be foolish for Trump to resign now. Joe Rogan was at the White House Saturday morning talking about ibogaine, which has an effective mitigation rate for addiction at the first dose, 80% allegedly. We should investigate that. It also might be effective in depression, and we know that liberals, strong leftist liberals, have the higher rates of mental illness in their society. So that will be great. I think it'd be dumb for him to resign. I'm ready to see what's next in store for us.
So, okay.
I mean, liberal-minded people have a higher rate of mental illness because they're diagnosed?
No, so my sort of my 2 cents to this would be well,
I think it's because they're crazy. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but it's like
that's an unsubstantiated claim.
I don't think crazy anymore.
I don't do unsubstantiated claims, Erskine.
Even if you prove it, it's going to move on to something else. People on the left she's just going to say that they get more and we ignore ourselves. But my thing is this. It seems, I just rather prefer if people were just against big money. It doesn't seem like people are against big money. They lost $25 billion.
Against big money. That's what
wait.
country is.
Wait, you just said you wouldn't. Why are you interrupting me? It drives me crazy. You do it. It actually drives me crazy when you do it. Because the way you communicate is so schizophrenic. It makes me schizophrenic. You're the person I hate when they interrupt me. Because you're incoherent. I don't know what you're doing. Can you stop interrupting me, please? Stop it. Bad. So the only thing I'm saying is that you look at $50 billion. $50 billion. We can only account for $25 billion. So let me put this into communist language for you.
The homeless population went up. The homeless population went up during that period.
It's $25 billion. Imagine if it was 25, if we took a claw machine and put 25 Elon Musk, 25 Jeff Bezos, 25 rich billionaire, 25 Donald Trump. We're not talking about unrealized gains. We're talking about liquid. We're talking about now.
Can you stop?
We're talking about liquid. Every single time she does this, I feel like I have to restart, and it just makes my submission so much longer. I should not be talking this long. It's weird. The only thing I'm saying is that it seems like, given a person's political disposition, they're against corruption in the private market, but they're not against the biggest. If this ever, how do you lose $25 billion in the private market? If you lose $25 billion, that's going to be on the front page of Forbes, and every single NBA is going to learn about it for the next 100 years. How do you lose $25 billion? We're talking about liquid money. We're not talking about, oh, you're a billionaire because you have stocks that haven't been sold yet. We're talking about $25 billion liquid.
Is that billion with a B?
And these are the same people who are like, just give them more money. They'll be fine. Just get a person who won't fuck it up. They already fucked over $25 billion on homelessness. And it didn't even go to them. So my question to you is like, do you ever have the critiques of the government when it comes to that? Like, is there a difference between private corruption and public corruption? How are you
talking to me?
Yeah.
I mean, like, as a civic-minded voter, I'm hella critical on all politicians, whether they're on my side or not, whether they speak to things I want or not. Well, I'm a Democrat, but oh no, man. Yeah, I'm a Democrat, but I grew up in a politically subversive household. My mom was a Black Panther. My dad fought in Vietnam. I've been reading Kafka and Ayn Rand and all of this stuff since I was like 10 years old, bro. I'm not new to the game. I don't trust any of them.
Like the government can save you. You're for revolutionaries who don't trust the government a bit.
Because what I've learned in my history of activism is that there are many places for many people to fight, right? There are public places for people to fight, and there are inside places for people to fight. And I prefer to break things from the inside using their own tools. So I will do that, and I do that, and I encourage people to do that, right? So I believe, despite, I don't know who else is like Black, but NPC, if you've ever heard like other Black people say like, I don't vote because our votes don't matter because the government doesn't like us, blah, 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 XYZ thing, right? I'm a person that's like, have you heard that before? I don't want to just
Yeah. So okay. I fuck with your ideology.
I'm the person who's like, no, dude, this is what they want you to believe. The more you believe this and the more you proselytize this, the worse things get, not just for you, but for every person, okay? And I take it further, and I
say this on the chat. Say that on the chat.
Yeah, so I take it further and I do things, I create things so that I can stay safe, because I was like a public activist. I've been shot with rubber bullets, tear gas, all of that stuff. I don't really want to do that anymore. Really dangerous. I love breathing and living, but I still do want to fight. So every election year, whether it's the midterms or federal elections, I will create entire voter guides, and I will call every single person that I know in a night who I think doesn't understand legislative text and explain them and ask them, do you understand? Do you know how to do this? Do you know how to engage? And they can take that information to other people, right? Because I care about what things do.
I love that.
Oh.
I love that you created the Pornock.
No, but I like your history, but I don't think that. What about government? Because when it comes to the lack of trust for private actors, we understand that people can be greedy in the private market. But what about?
Bro, I'm trying to tell you, I've spat in the face of governors on the steps of my city hall. Please don't think I'm like playing games with these people. If I see corruption anywhere and I have the ability to speak or do something about it, I do it.
Okay, so the way that California is right now, they don't have to raise a single increased tax dollar. They can solve all their problems right now without raising taxes at all, and that's just a fact of the matter.
How?
So if your mind abundance, there's a book out right now called Abundance by Ezra Klein. Read Abundance by Ezra Klein, and you can figure out how to be a successful integrationist. And the way to be a successful integrationist is by having a government. You cannot be a status quo person.
Having a what government?
My bad. Efficient government.
Oh yeah.
You cannot be an integrationist without having efficient government. Because if you don't have efficient government,
Gaslighting everyone who's smarter than you.
What?
Okay, he'll stop now. He promises. Go ahead.
yeah, so if you don't have efficient government, what you're going to have are people who criticize the government justly because they're inefficient. And then you're going to have people who defend the inefficient government just because they're status quo. But you're going to have what you have right now. So you get the worst of both worlds when you have inefficient government. You don't get the benefits of a government, and people who want to tear the system down are legitimized, and chaos doesn't really help that many people. So this is the issue with Democrats. They don't treat government inefficiency like the crime against humanity that it is. Because government inefficiency is what I'm calling it to be nice. The majority of this shit is not inefficiency, it's just corruption. Government inefficiency should be right next to...
Yeah, sorry.
I'm about to land. Elon Musk is the worst person who was ever born, right next to maybe Jeff Bezos. Right up there should be government inefficiency. I want you to hate government inefficiency just as much as you hate Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
that's what
I think the grace that you guys have heard from me is my thoughts of like, well, if I, there's always the question of if you were in control, right? Like if I were to do it, how would I do it? And the thought becomes suffocating over time. I've been asked this question several times over several years, and it makes me like consider the complexities of different offices, right? Like, what could I actually do? Even just knowing some people who work in government now, right? Like, one of my friends who I used to dance with was running for office, and I yelled at him. I said, well, like, why would you want to work for these people? What do you mean? Like, are you okay? And he's liberal, but still, I asked the question, like, like, I don't know, like, is your soul good, bro? And he was like, I just want to expose these motherfuckers. And I was like, oh, you're never gonna get anywhere if that's your goal, right? And I'm happy I was wrong, because he absolutely did get elected, and he has been exposing these motherfuckers left and right for like a few years now, so much so that they want him gone. He's young. He doesn't give a fuck. He uses all of the things that the young people like to see, big old billboards, memes, all of it, to just expose the corruption into what.
Moral victories. We love moral victories.
No. These are real victories, because he's showing people raw data of like charts of how much money is being spent in the county on different things and how little of that goes to us and what they can do.
But by the way, your friend is amazing.
Well, a lot of people don't know that.
No, but
a lot of people don't.
No, Mike and Xerxes, even when they find out, one of the reasons you're different, you actually, like, you're a good sport to talk to. Most of the times when we tell people who are left-leaning about the inefficiencies of California, it's almost like they act like they don't hear it. Like people know, it's an open secret that California is probably the least efficient state government in the country.
Well, I mean, like, I have to be honest, this is like, it could be true for any people who are, I guess, like, nationalistic to their state, right? Like, I could say the same thing about Kentuckians who refuse to believe climate models despite the fact that their shit got rocked 2 years ago, right? Like, you literally are living on stick huts because of floods, and you think, like, oh no, like, let's not even hear any of that, right? Our governments believe the same thing, right? There's no such thing as climate change. We don't have to prepare for shit. Okay, what I do is just stop talking to them about it. That's what you want, right? I do this with liberals in my own state, conservatives in my own state. You guys know, I'm not gonna waste my breath on people who are willfully ignorant. I'm gonna talk to the people who want to move. Again, things I learned from being an activist.
World. It's a new brave world, by the way. Did you ever read that?
No, she's talking about what's called a persuadable. She works on a political metric known as persuadables. People whose lives she can make a difference in, and with the information and experience she has that she provides.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And I don't really care like what like side you're on either. Like although I exist, on the left, I don't, unless you're actually just being a fucking like bigot, racist, or an asshole. I'm still gonna give you the time of day. I'll still engage with you honestly, in good faith. All of those things, we can talk about it. We can walk away, shake hands, be friends, whatever it is you want. We can do all of that stuff as long as it equates to like movement. Right? What I can do is people who are stagnant in their ideas. I don't care if your ideas are like the only people that matter are women and we should only fight for women's rights. This is the most important thing. To me, that's stagnant. I'm sorry. Like there are tons of people suffering. As a woman, I understand the plight of females. I and it's real, right? I'm not dismissing it, but like also, what else though? You know what I mean? Because the what else is what gets us, to tie our shoes and to start walking. I'm just not, I'm no longer interested in people who are just here for a fucking ride, bro.
Like, you know what? Something that you said kind of, and maybe y'all want to talk more. I haven't seen a climate change. And I haven't.
You know what? I really hate that about this. Some people within the black
Baby, come on.
Also, the thing is, it's a proof of low IQ because it doesn't lead anywhere.
Don't take the bait.
It doesn't take you anywhere. All it does is always just take you back to square one, back to square one, back to square one. Because it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. I don't know if it comes from
Collect 200 and go back to go.
If it comes, but even if you're proud of something, it's like but then you're like, oh, okay, something is being done wrong in the wrong way, but because I'm proud, I want it to be done in the right way, but I don't know. So what is it?
That's subjective.
What
is subjective.
What is it?
Well,
No, what is it with you? It's like even your women can figure it out. Like, but you keep trying and you keep trying, and if it doesn't work for you, you just gaslight. And then you're like, oh, it's the Jews' fault, or it's the whites' fault, or it's Trump's fault, or it's like whatever. But it keeps, and then you get on an American side, you get overrun by the fucking.
How about we stop fighting for those fucking beggars
who have no even marriage there, who used to be like lawn mowers. They even have more credibility than you fucking people who have credibility by birth.
Just so you know, we've not had Mexican immigration into the United States since 2005. The people we catch are Guatemalan, Honduran,
So I don't
Ecuadorian.
know why people put you up. Like on a.
Nobody put me up. I live on the border, lady. You're talking about this
Marshall, hey, who's Marshall? Is that you talking like lady? Can you either put her in the audience or just ignore her because I don't know where
Xerxes put her in the audience.
Alright, I did. I got it.
I think
It's done.
that's what happens.
Oh, I thought you weren't gonna do any moderation without topless permission, Marshall.
Hold on.
God gave me permission.
That's what happens when you come in these rooms with a certain agenda and you fail to follow
He's
the
coming.
conversation. And so, BB, man, you have this agenda to attack black people, and it's like we're not even there.
I love black people.
She loves black people. She's never racist to black people. And it just is so
I love
Put her down, people. Put her down. Let her talk. Put her down.
I'm a fucking cousin. I know when my
BB, go down. BB, go down.
Bro, Jason, shut the fuck up. Yeah, we're talking about American issues. Stay on topic, girl. Go start a room if you want to hyper focus on. That's fine.
Look, we just don't need to.
Okay, I'll just finish what I'm saying.
Sick, awesome.
Put a button in it.
Yeah, just have to nip it in the bud. Stay on topic, man.
Okay, so some of y'all have amazing listening skills, but when a person's being completely incoherent, they might as well be drunk. Just treat them like a drunk person. Don't try to go back and forth with them like they're saying anything coherent because they're not.
Hey, be nice to people.
Yeah, so the only thing that I'm saying is that I was gonna pivot over to climate change because I haven't seen a climate change room. And Xerxes, you're talking about climate change, and I haven't seen a climate change room in a minute.
I thought it was global warming.
Yeah, I just don't talk about
it was global warming, and then they had to update the lie.
Well, I don't talk about it anymore because for people who don't either understand or have a firm belief in climate change, it's just there's nothing really to say at this point. And for people who do, we all know that, I mean, you know, it's pretty much a wrap.
Let me ask you two questions. Is the climate changing, yes or no?
Well, the climate is always changing every day.
No, is the climate changing, yes or no? It's this person.
Yes.
Okay, correct answer. Can spending more tax dollars solve it?
Well, money can't solve climate change, and we are far beyond the point of solving climate change. It is now about mitigating. One second, please let me finish my answer. So now it needs, the conversation, at least for the people in the North, needs to be about mitigating harm and potential fatalities.
But why is most of the agenda, at least from the governmental part, about increasing taxes if money can't solve the problem, if it's already too late? Whatever reason, whether it's natural, whether it's man-made, the same scientists that you believe in have said that you can't reverse it. So what's the point of increasing taxes because climate is changing?
So when you, I'm assuming that the tax dollars or whatever fund is accrued would go to like research in mitigation for harm.
But you said
and research for why am I forgetting what it's called? But like just like disaster prevention
or something.
No, but we can't
disaster prevention and preparedness.
We can't prevent it.
You know, like one.
Not climate prevention, disaster prevention.
But money won't solve it.
That's not true.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter how much money you give the state of
That is not true.
At a certain point, it's still gonna be what it's gonna be in 100 years. It doesn't matter how much money you give the state of Louisiana.
That is not true.
Maybe, but then you said something that's even better.
Yeah.
You said assuming. But your parents are like Black Panthers. Like, so you're assuming.
Well,
first of all, you're assuming that the government. You're assuming the reason why the government wants to. The American government wants to tax more people is because it proactively, 100 years before, 200 years. All this research is the government. Our government's known to be proactive. Like, you believe that the American government was proactively trying to help its citizens to.
I think that some governments maybe not our government as.
No, I'm speaking about our government because I only know the climate lobby in our government.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of get the main idea that the climate lobby. The prescriptions that it gives doesn't match the illness nor the medicine. Like none of it.
Well, I mean, the climate lobby and climate scientists would be speaking to people who, largely for 40 years at least, maybe even more, who like initially don't really understand the concept that they're trying to describe, right? It does just kind of set in as panic or fear mongering, and then you go into like a 30-year lifespan of greenwashing and making people believe that they're doing something when really these things, they help, your immediate surroundings, but what's actually happening, what's been done, it doesn't help that much.
Even Bill Gates has pulled away from the climate situation. Like it's not, and nobody cares at this point. So.
Okay, but this is what I said about having debates surrounding climate change. I don't do it personally because what am I to say to people? It is just kind of like, we'll wait and see then.
No, so some soldiers.
Yeah, when one volcano going off causes more harm to the world than a million cars. I mean,
that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with climate change. But bringing up
What goes in the atmosphere has to do with
Yeah, when when erupted the last time,
we're talking. So when
world temperature by a degree.
Yes, I understand. I know all of that stuff. When people are talking about climate change and climate science, they're talking about human impacts on the climate, not geological disasters.
Is when one volcano can cause more disruption than all humans on Earth, then, then it's not an issue.
It's that's an insane thing to say, but you go ahead and have that statement to yourself.
I think it's like,
how's that insane?
I think there's a fair take that, like, if we're gonna put, hundreds of billions of dollars into mitigating a risk, that, to keep the temperature 1 degree lower, but there are these other risks that we just can do nothing that can raise the temperature by 1.5 degrees, then maybe we got to think differently about this problem.
Correct. So this is why I said, Jason, it's about mitigating risk and harm to like fatalities, right? So this isn't like risk and harm to like take down the percentage of the earth cooling. This is like, how do we create or focus on infrastructure models that help people survive things like Hurricane Katrina, the floods in Appalachia, like, if we're going to take it out of America, the numerous floods last summer and the summer before in the Mediterranean and the global south, like there are people who live at the most exposed points of these things, of these kinds of disasters, which would be at the equatorial countries and at either side of the tropics. And these are some of the poorest countries. They are leading research on this because they know that they are the most at risk, right? So when I listen to people talk about these things, and it's gone past a belief in climate science. You don't have to believe it in order to know that something can take you out that is because of this thing. You can choose to ignore it, and then you'll be the person that's on it. Like, I don't mean you guys in the room. You can choose to ignore it, and then you'll be the person on the news saying, I didn't know that this could happen. This hasn't happened in X amount of years. I heard about this from my grandma. We're just going to rebuild. You can be that person till the end of time, until it gets you or it doesn't, whatever.
But until it gets you, or do you even understand the models that you believe in? Because none of them,
I do.
Like none of the models say that anything. Like you guys remember the movie 2012? Like, you guys remember 2012? But like none of the things in 2012. Yeah, none of the things in 2012 happened within our lifetime. And even if they did happen, it wouldn't happen like that. Like, what do you? This is what I mean. What are you talking about?
Correct.
Like none of
So I'm talking about an increase in intensity. You're asking a question. I'm going to answer. You're asking about an increase in intensity of climatic disasters, right? An increase in the number of. 1 second. I'm still speaking. The increase in the number of hurricanes. The increase of the intensity of the hurricanes. The increase in the number of tornadoes. The increase in the intensity. Yeah, but nobody is expecting.
Nobody is sea levels.
2012 is a movie.
I know it is. What you said you didn't know what it was, but obviously you know what it is now.
What do you mean? I know it's
the sea levels. Listen, we're talking about Louisiana. We're talking about certain parts of Florida. We're talking about the type of climate change that has been sold to us. We're talking about the type of climate change that has been sold to us that certain American cities won't. About a really, really harsh storm. We're talking about the sea levels rising to where some cities aren't
it's all a part of that.
anymore. That's not true. That's not going to happen.
I mean, you can say that now because it's not true right now.
No,
of course you can say that.
Projections don't show that. The science doesn't even show that.
If you really watch, who's the vice president? What's his name? Al Gore. You watch his Inconvenient Truth. What he proposes in that movie, based on studies that he was referencing, we should all be underwater by now. But it's
we should not be underwater.
They have the dramatic animation showing where all the cities are going to be across the country. They're all going to be underwater. He showed that animation. That was part of the.
Tell me, tell us the years.
It's crazy. I agree with you. But that's what he put in his movie.
Tell us the year. David's wrong. He doesn't know anything. But tell us the year. Tell us the year where it's going to be estimated that certain American cities are going to be underwater. Tell us the year.
I don't know if I am clairvoyant enough to say that.
No, but the science. We're not talking about basic. What is the science?
Yeah, he's not asking you
We're
what
talking about
you
the
think.
science.
He's asking
I mean,
what are some common predictions about that?
oh, I don't know.
There are
I'm
some sites
thinking.
where it already should have been underwater.
Oh, okay. Did you want to answer, David? Go ahead.
He's not gonna answer with anything, but I think the broader point, the point I appreciate MPC raising, okay, is he's ultimately saying, well, look at the tax policies in developed countries, in California, in America, in Canada, and Western countries. What are all these northern countries? What do they think they're accomplishing? These low population, in many cases, very low population countries. What do they think they're accomplishing by taxing gasoline at the pump? Okay, this will accomplish nothing for the climate. Zero. It will just, it will haul a bunch of money into the government.
They want people
And,
to stop
but that
driving as
amount
much.
of government, that amount of money coming into the government, it's not earmarked for anything. Okay, to do with the
It's
climate.
earmarked
They're
for
just like,
roads.
they're just spending the money. Okay, not that carbon taxes. No, they are not, David.
No, I mean
there
the
are-
gas tax. I mean.
No, there are specific gas taxes in some of these countries for the environment.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
Okay, yeah, well, you just don't know what you're talking about, so shut up. So these kind of taxes, they cannot accomplish anything. Okay, they are theatrical, all right, and they are a way, though, for the government to get big, which it loves to do. Okay, the government just loves to take money and get big. That's just a natural thing for it to do, based on this climate story. And many other stories of like goodness or justice or whatever are leveraged in the same way. Okay, and that I think is a really fair point here. All right, you can't just be like, it's nice that the government tells me a nice story about something that's a problem, and they say, okay, there's a tax about it, and it's like, okay, what is this? But then the part about like, well, what does the tax have to do with doing anything about it? That part of the story is left out. And are we asking this question? Are we insisting on any kind of relationship there? No, we're not.
Okay.
So why don't you become a Republican and support Donald Trump? Okay?
I would never do that. I prefer my presidents having the ability to read. Yeah.
That was a perfect way to end that line of questioning, dog.
I'm just goofing around, okay? I'm just goofing around.
No, that was so funny. So I got some ideas for this. As a landowner, I've noticed differences in the climate, increased droughts, sometimes heavier rains. But two things we could do in my area in particular: mangrove to hold the coastline together, which is really important, and then plant seagrass. Like we have a place called Laguna Madre, and Laguna Madre is basically all seagrass. That promotes oxygen in the ocean, which helps the atmosphere. Apparently we get 2 out of every 3 breaths from the ocean. So those are two things we can invest in that, are natural and would be a really good thing and, help produce more oxygen.
But this doesn't matter, Marshall.
If the carbon tax went immediately to funding an institution that made pollution less, because plastic, in my opinion, plastic pollution is the single worst thing that we're doing to the planet. The microplastics, if you catch salmon in the middle of the Atlantic, it's still going to have fabric softener in it because of what we do to the planet. So, in my opinion, I feel like climate change is dangerous. And the reason why it's dangerous is because it flattens what it means to care about the earth. Instead of caring about things that are really actually going to move the needle, not a fucking solar panel that's going to end up in a landfill that we have to destroy the plant to even mine the materials for, not a fucking windmill that's going to kill all the birds and kill all the whales, not none of those, but actual things that change the planet. We're not focusing on nuclear energy. We're not focusing on thorium reactors. We're not focusing on getting plastic out of our lives and off our planet. But instead, we're focusing on a big tidal wave that's not going to come when or how they say it's going to come.
I mean, you can't, just like I can't predict if it's going to come, you can not predict if it's not. right? So I think we should maybe stay out of the realm of hypothesis.
The models, the scientific models that you love show it's not.
You know, you have this really interesting way of framing things that are intentionally antagonistic, and while I'm not provoked by them, I do find them a nuisance. I think the projected model is for 2050, and that's the one that I have learned for, I don't know, 3 years.
Okay, great. So in 2050, Miami's not going to exist. Lafayette,
maybe. I mean, it's possible, right?
Yeah, so that was your answer. You said you didn't know before. Now you found the study. So before, basically, I'm 27 now. So before 2050, yeah, I'll still be alive then, hopefully. So most of the people in the room are going to be alive when Miami is absorbed by the climate monster.
I mean, it's possible. It's also, you know, there are a myriad of things that can happen in between then and now.
Yeah, there are, but government policy can't be based on like, well, we don't know if it's going to happen, we don't know if it's not going to happen, so let's take everybody's money for the tidal wave that may happen or may not. You know, you gotta have a good reason to take people's money.
Yeah, so
and we gotta push back on the government when they don't have a good reason.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with you in the sense of like it should be direct and clear about what, you know, funds are going to be used for what, and those plans immediately go into action. They absolutely incentivize those communities, maybe even, you know, by way of making jobs for those communities because somebody has to put this shit together. You know, all good things. I just don't know. I do know. Often when people say things like this, they say this in effort, and I'm not accusing you of this, Jason, but they say this in effort to cripple the argument that things should be done at all. I don't.
That's true, but I'm not saying that.
Of course, and I didn't say that you. I don't want you to believe that I believe that you're doing that. I do not. But you know, I have seen the ways that, you know, communities in different countries have for, you know, this whole 30 years because they've been enduring things that are not inside of the normal things they understand climatically, done things to change, you know, even poor countries. There's a reason why I talked about, you know, houses on sticks, you know, stick huts. It's because, like, you know, in places where people can't, like, build strong foundations because they likely don't have, like, a ton of materials, time, money, whatever, they just build their houses on sticks so that the floodwaters can pass and they're less likely to endure, you know, hardship or death, right? It looks like this, right? So, you know, when people are talking post-Katrina about levees and stuff like this, it looks like that, right? It's not like this grandiose, you know, nebulous, imaginary thing where the money just goes up into the sky and maybe comes down as less rain or some shit.
Coming in. Okay, so if it's coming in 2050, you just made an assumption. You're giving the government a
not an assumption.
No, you said you don't know what they're doing with the money. You said that. And you gave them the benefit of the doubt. And you gave them the benefit of the doubt that, hey, maybe they're using this money for preventative measures, but you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Why would you give a government the benefit of the doubt that just wasted $25 billion on the homeless crisis, which is an actual crisis that's hitting now? On the real crisis that's hitting now.
Okay, NBC, relax, bro. You don't have to yell at me. I'm listening.
You know, I'm saying, but the reason why I'm elevated is because the real crisis.
It's frustrating.
It's not frustrating yet. I'm having fun. The real crisis that's happening now, $25 billion gone. Yeah, it is. Yeah, $25 billion gone. And you're saying that I'm going to give the government the benefit of the doubt that they're taking up this money 30 years in advance, but they're doing the right thing. They have our best interest in mind.
They just need more money.
Like, it's a little bit different here where I live. So, like, climate scientists and climatology and earth science studies and all those things are like as native to California as a poppy. You know, there's a reason other than just, you know, elitism, tech bros, fintech homies, regulations, and, you know, the myriad of other things that people hate California for. Like, it's also because we institute, like, well, for a while, instituted like EPA laws, right? Things that like, you know, go to save the planet, right?
Well, thank goodness Trump reversed that.
And you guys, you know, the rest of the country can decide now in this time whether or not they want to follow those things. I'm sure everybody can find their way. That's cool. But
the rest of the country wants
like,
to drive an F-150.
Bro, like the Tourette's from you is getting annoying. It really is. Did you want to just have the floor to speak, David? I can yield for you.
No, I reserve the balance of my time.
Okay. Where we focus on things, or at least the government does, right? So, cliff faces falling off, you know, mitigating harm. There are regulations that say you can't build on those places, regardless of the view and how beautiful it is. We now know it's just harm. Instituting geological surveys for people who are buying homes, regardless of where you're buying those homes, super important to the landscape, super important to the safety of the people buying those homes. Instituting laws like these, right?
They already have those laws in places in multiple parts of the country.
Yeah, how do you mitigate an earthquake?
Oh my god.
But they already have those laws in place for most of the country already.
Okay. How do you mitigate an earthquake? How do you mitigate harm from an earthquake? Disaster preparedness. It's something that we just learned. We, like native.
An earthquake is going to happen if it wants to happen.
Yes, and there are ways that you can save yourself, and there are things that you should not do, right?
Like what?
Somebody...
Stand next to a window, I guess.
There are building codes, David, that help mitigate actually quite a bit.
But a lot of the mitigation she's talking about has already been implemented in society already. It's not like we're at zero mitigation and then she's like,
that's not what I'm saying though.
So we have to go hard against the government. Yeah, so we have to go hard against the government taking money for these illusory, non-definite gains because NPC is right. NPC is right. You have there's this law of diminishing returns. I mean, you can't make building codes that much. Okay, we have basically identified the places that easily collapse and that you can't live on, and we're pretty much done with that process. I mean, honestly, the only thing we can do after this is say, look, New York is a low-lying island. Get off of it. You know, nobody can live on the coast of Florida anymore. That's basically all that's left. Like, we picked all the low-hanging fruit in terms of places you can't.
Yeah, but everyone likes
building standards that are safe and things like that.
And this is assuming that the tidal wave is going to come in 2050. This is all assuming that the tidal wave is going to come.
Or anything.
Or if an asteroid hits the water, then...
Oh my god.
You need to use violence, okay, and remember it. Okay, David, stop resisting. Stop resisting, David. Hey, use force. I'll distract him, and then you'll do him off the stage.
Oh, is that why they say that? That's crazy. I'm actually new here as of today, so I won't be removing anyone. I'm so sorry. I don't think that's really my place. I don't really know how I got this being.
The reason why I find this fun, someone was like, oh, you fun.
Yeah.
I find it really, really fun, the arguments that people make even though they know the truth. Because Xerxes, we started this conversation by both of us agreeing. 2 questions. You got both those questions correct. We both admitted that whatever momentum the climate has, there's nothing that we can do to stop it.
Yeah, the climate's going to do what it's
the climate change that we're witnessing, and then you're going to these like really, really fringe ideas.
No, it's not fringe, bro. Like, because we exist as humans, the thing that we care about is important, right? It's why is it important? It's because people want to live, right? So now we move past the point.
No, but we just came to the conclusion that we're not stopping the catastrophe. The the catastrophe is so catastrophic that the damage control that you're suggesting is going to happen won't even fucking matter because you won't be able to.
And that's not true. I'm so sorry. You're not qualified to make that judgment. I just have to put that out there.
You just remembered Xerxes pretends to.
Xerxes, I hate to break it to you, but
sure,
NPC is a citizen.
Sure.
That's the qualification you need to make decisions in this country. Okay.
Yes.
The citizens who are sovereign in this country. No one has a qualification to make a decision other than us and the people we elect. We are sovereign here.
It's not about decisions. It's not about decisions. I didn't say he wasn't qualified to make a decision.
Yeah, my vote
I
counts.
said he wasn't qualified to make that assumption.
What is your vote?
Yes, it does.
I haven't. Well, to be fair to you, Xerxes, there's a lot of assumptions that you've made that you verbatim in this conversation say, I'm about to make an. You literally said you've made several assumptions, and you made an assumption that the state would have. You gave the state a benefit of the doubt, which is something you called an assumption verbatim, and you said they're probably using the money. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that they're probably using the money for preventative measures. That's what you said. You made an assumption of how the state was allocating money.
But my assumption is based on the things that I've seen, right? Is yours?
My assumptions are based on the things that I've seen. I've seen.
Really? How?
Yes, I've seen states use benevolent causes to absorb money to not use a single cent.
No, but what was the statement that you made, NPC?
Which one?
The one that we are arguing about currently. What was the statement that you made?
The first thing I started off with was the two questions that we agreed on. And then I started to pick your brain about, and then when I started to pick your brain, you said, I'm gonna go out on a limb and kind of assume that, hey, they're doing this, they're gonna take this.
Now fast forward to 5 minutes ago.
Okay. My only point is that, are you asking me my point?
Yes.
Hopefully. No, you gotta tell her my point.
Oh my god.
My only question is
always drunk.
My only question is this: like genuinely speaking, you're not a stupid person. We both know that this problem, we can't stop it anymore, no matter what we do. Knowing how inefficient the government is with money, seeing how many times the government has manufactured a crisis, absorb the money, absorb the power. Yeah, they do that. Black Panther, they do that. Like your parents know about that. So
I don't know what you mean by that. My parents are.
You've never heard about manufactured crises from the government?
I don't know what you mean by that.
You never heard the term like a manufactured crisis?
I have heard that, but I don't know what you're referring to.
So, like, if you look at the word manufacture...
No, I mean, like, a specific instance. I know what it means.
A specific instance?
The whole climate change thing is a manufactured crisis.
So...
No, okay. Use something that isn't climate change.
No, but climate change actually
is... Okay, use something that isn't climate change.
Alright, I can use 9/11.
Oh, okay.
I can use Pearl Harbor. I can use manufactured crisis. The easiest one, fucking COVID-19. That's the easiest manufactured crisis. It was actually manufactured.
The pay gap is a manufactured.
The pay gap is another manufactured crisis. Yeah.
Okay.
Because when you
police shootings
look at men and women's wages, when you control hours worked. So she's very NPC, but it's very, very.
No, I'm really not.
But Jason is also.
I'm clearly not. So relax.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let's not all fight here. Let's just everybody relax. You know.
Like you literally just got here. We're fighting for fun. If you don't like it, dip. Honestly.
Wait. Chill out. What's the attitude for? I don't.
No, I like the fight. Don't.
Oh, well,
don't tell them to. Don't tell them to. Sure, Night King. Would you like me to play the recording of you singing?
Sure,
we can fight over that.
We can play that. I love my singing.
The pay gap is a great example of a manufactured crisis.
That is my
I just wanted it to.
Yeah, and that's like something people talk about all the time. Another one is the shooting of unarmed black men by police. You know, for all these liberal politicians, it's an epidemic. Turns out not to be real.
No, it is a real epidemic. It's one leading cause of death
No, it doesn't happen. Okay?
Yes, it does.
No, it's not.
Yes, it does.
Police do not shoot hardly anybody. They're not a leading cause of death for
I
anyone.
feel like I want to come to this phone and just sit.
Well, that bro, he's
That's an
a
example of
pseudo-ism.
manufactured
Jason just
crisis.
wants to see more dead black
It's
people.
true. This is
Wait, that one, you necro, that was
it's manufactured.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so NPC.
Just for the record, about
Oh, go ahead.
about
Scott.
1 in 1,000 black men and boys can expect to die at the hand.
No, it's not a catchphrase.
Who's Tina? I'm putting out the hook. See who was gonna jump on that hook, baby. And I'm gonna reel it in.
She said that she's a ballaholic. You better be careful. Yo. Alright, guys. Let's get it. I got like 5 minutes before I turn it on.
You got all 5 families and everything.
Let's get it.
Freaky, boy.
Yeah, you got Tony and shit. You got everybody on the roster.
Have y'all been to Vegas?
I'm a vegetarian. I like tuna.
Like St. Pierce, Basilica, or
They were showing me. It's a great show over here, by the way.
it's a nice workout. But
That's la 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 la.
Oh, you talking about the Empress? That nigga got quiet. That motherfucker got quiet. Alistair.
How can you think love will end? Diego, I will haunt you till your grave. My name is Scarface, and I try to bomb an elevator shaft.